Happy Friday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thank you so much for being here on a Friday. And, man, you know, TGIF for sure. Been a long week. I only worked 4 days this week. You guys must be exhausted. I was out on Monday, and I'm extremely tired. So you guys must be absolutely cashed. We got a lot to do today. We have a couple of really, really good guests, and we'll have some fun. It's a Friday. No game last night, so hopefully everybody had a nice, relaxing evening. I'm Woodsy. That to my right is not that. He to my right is Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great.
How's it doing?
Yeah, how's it doing today?
It's well.
Paul?
It's well.
My buddy,
It pushes the drops buttons or it gets the hose.
that's right. Oh wait, is he a great big fat person? Paulie, my buddy, I was talking to him yesterday. He's getting married in a week. And I talked to you. I said he sounded like he got sounds like he has his soul sucked out of his body. He's just defeated right now. There's so much to do. And
That made me sad.
I know, it made me incredibly sad. But then he said that his fiance will say things like this. She speaks in the second person. She'll say, she's very happy with this dinner tonight. Or I'm going to do this so he's not mad when he gets home.
She says it out loud
to him or in text. We'll come back to it because I want to introduce our friendly neighborhood sports anchor, Ben Higgins, as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Ben is also very tired today.
No, you'd say
he is also very tired. So not the Ricky Henderson, whereas Ricky.
Correct.
That's
Third
person.
person.
That's the third person. This is the second person.
That's third person. Second person is this. Like yesterday, I go, how's everything going, man? He goes, Yeah, I mean, he's getting married in a week. I go, everything good? He goes, you know. And then he's 50-something years old. You know, this is it. He's like, I just feel
First marriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I just feel like this is, you know. I go, yeah, man. I mean, you've been single a long time,
it's a big
bro.
lifestyle
Like, it's
change
a huge
at this
change,
point in
right?
your life.
And he says, I'll tell you what I got waiting for me today. He goes, my fiance ordered a couple of chaise lounges for around the pool. They have a pool, a nice place in Texas. He goes, well, she didn't realize that they weren't put together. So these giant boxes just get dropped off. And now there's two massive chaise lounges that need to be put together. And so she rips the boxes open and she's putting one together. So she texted him, I'm putting the first one together so he's not mad when he gets home and has to do the hard one. And I go, what do you mean he? And he goes, me. And I go, but why doesn't she just say you? And he said, I don't know. That's just what she does. This is like trying to be cute. And he goes, I don't really think it's cute. And I go, yeah, I think it would drive me badass crazy if my wife did that to me. She's very full from dinner tonight. I would lose my mind. You take her. Hannah and I went out to dinner last night. If we got in the car, she goes, she's very happy. It was creepy to me. Is it not?
I don't like that.
I don't like it even a little bit.
Nope.
Not even a little. Man, that was so good. I'm so full. Talk like a normal human. So, yeah, it was very weird, I thought. You know, it just struck me as interesting.
It's an unusual quirk.
It's something. It's definitely something.
I mean, everyone wants to have their own quirk, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to be just completely, utterly normal.
Wait,
right?
are we wrong about that? That it's second person?
The second person is you, David J. said. I don't know what she is.
What is that?
Fourth person.
Seventh person. He's very happy this morning.
Second person narration uses the pronoun you to address the reader directly, making them the protagonist.
I was an English major. I have no idea what any of that means. Any of it.
I think this is so weird that there's not even a name.
Is there not? Is there not?
Merriam-Webster website, first, second, and third person explained.
We know what third person is.
Second person narration is a little used technique of narrative in which the action is driven by a character known third. One known as you.
Okay. So David says, and he's one of the smartest. I text him throughout the show because he gives me answers to things I need. He says it's the third person with pronouns rather than the Ricky phenomenon of using his own name. So it's basically third person, the same thing.
If she used her name instead of she,
that's true.
that would still be the third person.
Yeah, the example here on the website is like, let's say I'm telling a story that I experience. And I'm like, all right, picture this. You're at a subway station. You're waiting for the train.
Right.
That was
Second
me.
person.
I was waiting for the train at that subway station,
yeah.
but I'm telling it differently. That's second person.
Well, anyway, it's weirder than F, and it's driving him crazy. And I just said, buddy, I'm sorry. You got to lean into it. He's got to lean into. I also recommended for him, just get TaskRabbit, dude. Just do it now. Get the app. Send them to your house. You get home. It's not expensive. You get home. You don't have that impending dread of going home to put together a chaise lounge, and then you are happy, and you just pay this guy and grease him an extra $10 and call it a day, and you're done. I said you can do it from work, send him over, and get it done. Just knock it out. So he thought about it, but I don't know. I think he honestly wanted to go home and start a fight about it, so he wasn't going to do that. So pretty good stuff. How is everybody's evening last night? Pretty low key in my house.
So I'm still doing I'm anchoring in for Kimberly Hunt this week. So still,
you're still on Diddy watch?
Working, yeah. Diddy watch.
You had a lot of Diddy.
Lots of Diddy yesterday. Had the big story was the opening of the new resort down in Chula Vista.
The Gaylord.
The Gaylord Pacific Resort and Convention Center. Looks spectacular, I must say.
Looks fantastic.
A big, giant economic driver for the South Bay. Going to bring in, they already have, get this. I mean, there's 1,600 rooms.
Yep.
There's a water park, pools, 12 restaurants. I mean, this is like a Vegas mega resort, but down in Chula Vista on the water.
Yeah.
They have already booked conventions through the year 2035.
Wow.
That's amazing. I mean, that's what you want.
10 years worth of conventions.
Yeah, I mean, not it's not fully booked for 10 years, but
sure.
the farthest one out
That's
is
so
already
cool.
They're thinking, okay, well, we need a convention in 2035. Let's go to this hotel that isn't even open yet, and we'll book it. And now it's open. They had their first two people check in yesterday, just special invited guests, to test it out a little bit. But it's going to be open to the public, I think, today.
We didn't get one.
No, we didn't. I did not get a special invite.
Need a bigger platform, I guess.
That would have been cool to be like, hey, why don't you guys come down and spend the weekend here?
Hey, you guys are always talking about
stuff,
other
hotels
stuff
and stuff.
South Bay.
Yeah.
7 miles from downtown.
Now you're just maybe 1 minute from, if you're at the Gaylord, they don't have
it's not a Las Vegas resort,
casino.
but you can get there to a 7 mile quite easily from that hotel. So that's probably a good thing for everybody involved.
Well, he's very disappointed that he didn't get an invite to the new Gaylord. Well, there's a Gaylord back home where I live, and it's fantastic. And we took the kids there for Christmas one year. It was amazing. It's just incredible. My wife is obsessed with it. We stayed there. We had a great time. They do it up so big. I bet it's going to be incredible at Christmas. So that's
giant
cool.
Atrium with glass looking out on the bay. That's where they do the baseball winter meetings in Nashville, is the Gaylord Opryland Resort. So, yeah, we've got one of them now in San Diego, and at some point going to have to check it out. But I had a realization yesterday, because I told you, just so exhausting, surprisingly. Why am I so tired?
Yeah.
It's a lot of hours, but I can talk for hours and hours. It shouldn't be that tiring. And then I got to around middle of the 6 o'clock news, 6:30, and it finally hit me why this is so much harder than doing even 5 hours with the roundtable yesterday. It's the posture. It's sitting with good posture for several hours without really ever being able to take a break, because you're on camera so often, can't really slouch in the chair. So I'm always right on the edge of my seat. I'm always sitting up. If you think about that, if you sat with good posture for our entire show,
there's no chance.
It would be exhausting.
It is. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I noticed myself lately.
I can't do this on TV and just lean back if you're on the YouTube.
I wish you could.
Occasionally we'll talk to you like this during the show.
Yeah.
I'll just do a nice little slouch. And
sometimes you'll fall asleep right in the middle of the show too. I mean,
absolutely.
You can't do that.
Well, I did that yesterday. This was weird too. I'll add this story. So I didn't have time to go home after the roundtable between the start of my Channel 10 shift around 1 o'clock. So I said, I'm just going to take a little nap downstairs in my car, like I tend to do.
100
Put the chair back and park, where I'm parked, where I always am, right there, facing the street. So it's a nice day. I roll down the windows. It's pleasant, and I'm just relaxing and sleeping. It's pretty quiet, pretty peaceful. a group of 3 ladies. I can hear them. I can't see them because I'm blocked. I'm under a tree and I'm blocked by the cars. But they're out for a lunch walk from one of these office buildings, and they are having a conversation. You know what the conversation is about?
Posture.
They're talking about Kimberly Hunt. She's the one at Channel 10, and she's married. She's still married to Billy Ray, and they're talking. Oh yeah, I love Kimberly. And then they go, who's the sports guy there? Oh, that's Ben Higgins. He's the sports guy. And I'm thinking, this is so weird. Should I jump out of the car and say, hello, are you talking about me? I didn't. I just quietly just sat there as they walked by talking about me, slowly just disappearing off to the left. And I just sat there like frozen going, am I supposed to jump out and say something like in the weirdest moment of all time?
All right, it is 6 o'clock in the morning.
He gets out. Hello, ladies.
Heard you were talking about me.
What if one of them was like,
you like sandwiches out there?
What if one of them was like, man, I'd like to break me off a piece of that.
Town. I did not. I mean, I only heard maybe 45 seconds of the conversation as they were walking by.
You're just eavesdropping and you hear, oh yeah, Ben Higgins. Oh, what'd I do to him?
Oh, the guy's got no idea how I would put it on him. He's got no idea. And his head just, he's like leaned all the way back. He uses the auto. Hello,
you see his head popping out of the window.
Oh God,
that is surreal.
It was very surreal. Random people are talking about me, and I can hear them as they're walking by.
I don't know if I ever shared this, but my friend Mel, she lives up in San Marcos area, and she was at a bar that she goes to, and she was sitting at the bar, I think, having a beer, and she heard this group behind her, and it was like an older guy, he's probably in like his 60s, and he's with his buddy and then their 2 wives, and they're chopping it up, shooting the breeze. And she goes out of the, I hear them talking about Ben and Woods. And he's like, the main guy, like the ringmaster of the whole crew, was talking about me specifically. He goes, oh, that guy's a troublemaker and this and that. And I've known her a long time. And she said, actually, she just DM'd me. She goes, she listened like the whole conversation, and he was like friendly. He wasn't like, that guy's an idiot. He doesn't know. But he was like, I don't know, man. Like he just pushes the buttons and blah, blah, blah. And she's sitting there. She's like, this is weird. Cause like, I know you, and they're talking to me. So finally, when she like paid her tax, she was like, hi, I'm really good friends with Woodsy and Ben and Paul, and they're the best show. And the guy's like, oh, tell them I said hi. So mind your P's and Q's. When you're out there, people.
We have ears.
Well, I've got
everywhere.
ears and eyes everywhere, all over this town. I texted my wife this morning. I really got nostalgic because the Vetter Cup, for some reason, got me this morning. Not like I wasn't like crying or anything, but I got nostalgic.
It's gonna be okay. Hey, it's gonna be okay.
I was thinking about it this morning, and you brought up a good question yesterday on the roundtable. I actually had a fun roundtable yesterday. It was a really fun one.
Good.
Your 7th inning stretch, and you kind of tied it into the Vetter Cup,
right?
And I started thinking. I went, man, and I said on the show, like, Pearl Jam changed my whole life, like it literally did. That album, when 10 came out, it like yanked me off of one path and like brought me onto another path and opened up a whole new avenue of music for me, and it was weird and nostalgic. So this morning I go, I'm going to listen to a little Pearl Jam, and I went from album, like I looked at all the albums and I went, oh man, I remember the day I bought 10, the day. I don't remember anything. Nothing. And I remember going into a record store, and my Uncle Jack in Michigan, his father-in-law owned a radio station. So Uncle Jack used to just ship me troughs of CDs. If you want any of them, take them. They're giving these away. The enterprising young man that I would go in and sell them to the store and get store credit. So I had like $300 of store credit to Sam Goody. Genius move, right? That it was brilliant. So I'm buying some stuff, and I walked up to the front desk, and there was one CD of Pearl Jam 10, and it was in the display. Like, this is what's playing. So I stopped and I go, what is that? Guy goes, new band out of Seattle. Check them out. I go, all right, I'll buy it. And he goes, this is the last copy. It's the store copy. I go, can I buy it from you? He goes, yeah. Gives me the store copy. It had already been opened, already been played. Threw it in the car, listened to it with my best friend, and we just looked at each other. I was like, what is this? I've never heard anything like this. It was great. And so I'm going through the albums this morning, and I'm like, look, I know Eddie Vedder's a Cub fan. At the end of the day, if the Cubs are playing the Padres or the Mariners, he's rooting for the Cubs, and that's fine. It's just a fun name for the whole deal, Seattle, San Diego. And I just got nostalgic, and I went, oh, their next album. I remember where I was when I bought that. Oh, this period in my life was really gnarly. I remember when No Code came out. I remember when Vitology came out. I remember the girls I was seeing at the time. Like, it just flooded me. So I go, man, what a cool thing. So I texted Hannah. I go, I would like to go to Seattle. The next time when they play Seattle up there, I go, I'd like to take the family up, and I want to go on the musical tour of Seattle, which was so important to me for so long. I only went up there once for business, didn't really get a chance to look around. But I thought, man, I just think I bought
end of August.
I think I just bought all the way in on the Vedder Cup, and it just really made me nostalgic. And these albums were like lily pads in my life. It was crazy. I was jumping to them going, oh my God. Oh, I remember when that came out that day. For some reason, I remember where I was when I bought every single one of those.
So was Nirvana kind of first,
yeah.
And then Pearl Jam? Were you also a Nirvana person, or had you not really gotten into that?
What happened to me is I did not know of Nirvana at all. Got 10, took it home, and then I started. It was back in the day, like there's no internet. So the way that you learned about stuff like this is you would buy magazines and you would ask people that were more, musically knowledgeable than you. Who are these guys? And they had such a good legend about them, Pearl Jam did. And they spawned from a band who lost their lead singer, Andrew Wood, called Mother Love Bone, who I then turned and started to love them. And then I learned about Green River. And then I learned about all these bands from Seattle. And then I bought, the Screaming Trees. And then I heard that my buddy said, you got to hear this. It's called Nevermind. It's by Nirvana, and he played the tape in his car, and it blew me out of every band I heard in that era. I just went, oh my God, Soundgarden. I bought Soundgarden the same day I bought 10.
Which one was Mookie Blaylock?
That was Pearl Jam.
That was Pearl Jam.
That was their first name, and then they obviously couldn't run with the name Mookie Blaylock because there was a professional basketball player named Mookie Blaylock. But I just thought, man, the Vedder Cup, and now it's here, and I'm here, part of this thing, like pretty solid. Made me a little bit nostalgic.
Going to be fun tonight. Obviously, this weekend, first official Vedder Cup. There's been unofficial ones for, 20 plus years now since they started, quote unquote, natural rivalries in Major League Baseball. We'll certainly look ahead to the series. Let me set the menu for the program. We can do that in a couple of minutes here after we check traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware at 10th and University. Good morning. We made it to Friday. Things are looking pretty good on the roads. This is one problem I got to mention in the North County West 56 before Carmel Valley Road. It's a rollover accident over to the right shoulder. Traffic brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 franks, courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware at 10th and University. I love that place. It's where I got my big green egg. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Of course, Woods, you mentioned a couple of good guests on a Friday. It is a SDFC Friday. Darren Smith, our weekly, will join us at 7:35 this morning as they get ready for another game tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium against Sporting KC. SDFC going for their 4th win in a row after beating the Colorado Rapids 2-0 on Wednesday night at Snapdragon Stadium. So trying to keep the momentum going. We'll talk a little soccer with Darren coming up at 7:35. He is back, by the way, from his Spanish vacation and that he's been on the last couple of weeks when we've talked to him. And then
I'm sure he's miserable.
It is, yeah.
I'm sure he's
miserable.
It's
not the worst place to come back to.
No, it's not.
But jet lag.
No,
just not
being in Spain watching soccer.
When's the last time you took a 2-week vacation?
Still, I know you. If you took a 2-week vacation anywhere, you'd be dying to come home.
Yeah. Well, no, Kauai.
You weren't dying to. You were happy there.
I was.
fully.
It doesn't even matter where you go. If it's a nice vacation, there's a difference between going to Hawaii or going to Spain for a wedding for 4 days or something like that, and then 2 weeks where you're fully immersed.
You're in it.
That
guy's sucking down paella and having a ball, going to 70,000 fan soccer games. Like, I don't know. He's all they don't have kids, so like I'm sure there was a part. I promise you, in his mind, it's cranking right now. Like, could we actually just go over there and do this for a while? Like, we'll ask him when he comes on.
Dude, my best friend's older brother studied abroad for a semester in college in Spain.
Yeah.
Came back, graduated, packed everything up, moved. He's been there for like 12 years. He still lives there.
Look at Adam Jones. The guy can't get him out of there. You cannot get him out of Barcelona. So, yeah, we'll ask Darren, like, how bad is that vacation depression right now?
It is also a manager's report Friday. Mike Shildt, the skipper of the San Diego Padres, will join us at 9:00 this morning. Talk about his team and mostly going fairly well. I mean, that was the theme on the round table yesterday. Padres, mostly ups, a couple downs, but mostly up so far this season.
Gonna ask Shildt about the Vetter Cup. And if he has any earthly idea what it is or who
I'm curious.
Who is Eddie Vetter?
I mean, you remember,
should we do Pearl Jam
some coaches
trivia
will
with
lean
him?
into like Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, Ohio State, that school up north, and that school from Ohio.
Yeah, they'll lean into
they won't even say the names of it. I can't see Mike Shildt totally getting into the we that team from the Pacific Northwest that we're taking on this weekend.
I mean, I think he hasn't. I mean, he's probably like, what? Do you think he knows there's like a special thing?
Yeah, I think like
he knows
the game tonight.
Well, I mean, I know he knows he has a game.
No,
does he know
He knows it's the Vetter Cup.
Wait, tonight? We're on tonight? Yes, you're on tonight.
Are the players they're all wearing? Oh no, they're wearing Military Appreciation Weekend hats.
Oh,
this weekend they're not wearing because I saw Don and Mud promoting. I think it's a theme game.
It's like a white ticket.
The white Vetter Cup hats. But yeah, he knows. I was because I'm going to the game tonight, and I guess they're gonna have like the party at the park before the game. It's not just beer fest or whatever. It's going to be like there's photo opportunities for the Vetter Cup. So I don't know if that's like cardboard cutouts of Eddie Vetter or something. Gonna have to take a lap.
Isn't there an actual trophy as well that they
yeah.
made? Maybe they'll have the trophy out there. You can pose with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I can go grab that acoustic and we can just jam Pearl Jam songs in here. I know several still off the top of my head.
Little Friday karaoke with Ben and Woods. We'll have our regular features, of course. Don't do this. Take on Woods and the Reindl Report as well as we go until 10 o'clock this morning. Have some more tickets to give away to that Front Row Card Show. Last one this week's been a very popular prize, so stay tuned for your chance to win coming up later this morning as well.
Maybe the sweetest message we've ever got in the chat. Our buddy Rafa, who we love, one of our tier ones, says, my son X is nonverbal. He doesn't have many phrases, he says. He added a new one this morning. He loves his routine, and y'all are a part of it.
That is awesome.
Oh, so sweet.
X, thank you for listening.
Thank you, X.
We appreciate
Love
it.
you guys.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you for making us part of your routine
Make me tear up
in the morning. And
very
you
nostalgic
too,
and
Rafa,
sad.
as well.
Yeah.
All right, we will come back. No game last night, so we'll look ahead at the series against the Seattle Mariners. And some people don't want me to talk about it, but there was a notes column from John Heyman that involved the future of two San Diego Padres starting pitchers.
Who
Dylan
doesn't want
Cease.
you to talk about it?
I saw a bunch of people who said, don't bring it up. It's too early in the season. Don't be talking about it.
I didn't know that.
We're going to
I
talk
thought you
about
meant
it.
me. I was like, no, let's go.
No, there were some fans who were like, no, I don't want to get into this, but it's big news. I mean, if it's true, it's big news for the San Diego Padres fan base. We'll talk about it coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, on a Friday, let's get something off of your plate before the weekend even starts. You've been putting it off for months, probably years, like Woods and I were, and that is getting your estate documents in order, whether it's a will or go the full route of a trust where you can really take all your assets and help your family avoid the hassles and costs of probate court after you are gone.
No question, man. And just getting a will as well. You have to get it done, man. If you've got a family, if you have anything that you want to bequeath to anyone, it just makes sense to get it down on paper and in a legal document. So pretty simple. A lot of tier ones have done it. They're still doing it. Go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN, F-A-N, when you check out for 20% off. That's 1/5 off. Can't beat that, Benny. And listen, they'll ship you your estate documents for free.
Don't let the state decide what happens to your legacy. Avoid the family drama. Save possibly money on taxes and other things. Even establish guardianship for your children. Trust us. You will thank us later by going to trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort.
Nice compliment, WJ. Says, Ben, you really need to anchor the news full-time, or at least more often. I think it's your calling. You do a great job and are easy to listen to.
Ben, you do a great job.
Does that
It's
mean
been
this
said
is
before.
not my calling?
Ben, you
what
do
I'm
a
doing
great
right now?
job.
I think you're great at this.
Well, thank you. My mother agrees. She said last night, you really should, maybe you could replace David Muir on World News Tonight
Maybe.
when he retires. And that's a very mom thing to say. And thank you, Mom, for believing in me. Moms are there to believe
They
in
are.
you. Don't think they're taking a sportscaster from San Diego and making him the new face of World News Tonight on ABC.
When I was a bit aimless in my life and was kind of looking for, what I wanted to be when I was a kid, you go to your dad and your mom for advice. And my dad was always the advice guy. And he would do that to me, Ben. He'd be like, well, you like baseball. Why don't you go be a general manager of a baseball team? Like the most far-fetched ideas. I'm like, Dad, I don't know that I would qualify to be a GM of a team at 24 years old with a minor drug problem and alcohol problem. I don't know that they would hire me.
You got a problem.
Sight unseen to run their organization. It's a good idea in theory, but I don't think I'm on the right path in life or career to run a baseball
The
team.
blind belief of parents is a wonderful
Dude,
thing.
it's
isn't it?
unbelievable. Now I've tried to not be that as a parent. Like, maybe you guys put the basketball down. Neither of you are very good. You're not very good at it, and your coordination really isn't there.
Your genes are not going to get you tall enough at any point.
Yeah.
to actually-
Look, let's be honest. You're both fairly athletic, but I don't think this is the sport for you guys. And they're like, oh, cool, Dad. Thanks for the sport. Maybe you don't play soccer either, because I really don't feel like going out to watch it on Saturdays and Sundays and twice a week or whatever. So I've actually gone the other way as a parent, less supportive. And I feel like it's gone pretty
more realistic.
well. More realistic. Yes.
Very realistic.
I'm not trying to
parents.
BS these guys. Not saying your mom's BSing you. I think you could anchor anything. I think if somebody said we need you to anchor, I think you could do it because you've done it. So I don't think that's off the table for you. But me running a baseball team was definitely off the table.
So while I was anchoring last night, happened to see this note cross my feed from John Heyman, New York Post, his Friday baseball notes column, and it led off with some news about your San Diego Padres. He writes, the Padres are hopeful of re-signing one of two-star free agent starters. And he's talking, of course, about Michael King and Dylan Cease. And he says, and word is the one they'll likely target is Michael King. One scout says he sees similarities to Greg Maddux. It won't be easy as King has East Coast roots. The ex-Yankee is from Rhode Island. King is a star now, but he'll likely cost less than Dylan Cease due to Cease's total track record.
Sure.
And that's
What's up? This is Michael King.
So, some people reacted like, I don't want to talk about this right now. It's too early in the season. Others were like, the Padres would like to bring, one of those guys back. And I tend to agree with that. Of course, they would like to. The question is, can they afford to bring either of them back in free agency next year? And at least according to what John Heyman is hearing, or, and how much weight you want to put in that is certainly up to you. He says the Padres are hopeful. It's not at least a foregone conclusion. We have no chance of re-signing either of those guys. They're going to be way too expensive. We're too close to the luxury tax level that we can't even think about bringing back either of those guys. The other sentiment, Woods, that I saw was a fairly large preponderance, if not a unanimous opinion from Padres fans, that if you could only have one of the two, that Michael King would be the choice for various reasons. Obviously King's been a little more dominant, got probably less mileage on his arm, but as Heyman says, he thinks Cease is going to be more expensive due to Cease's track record.
Well, track record and agent. I mean, the agent factor plays greatly into it. You will cease to win if you don't sign Dylan. I can already hear it now.
Sure.
From Scott Boras. Look, the mileage is certainly something. The fit is about the same. I mean, I think they both enjoy being here. I think they both really enjoy pitching and playing for Mike Shildt and in front of the San Diego Padres faithful. I think they both really enjoy it. But yeah, he's going to command. I think he's going to command more.
I get that, but if everyone seems to agree, yeah, we should try to sign King, and then you're hoping, and he might even be a little cheaper. Isn't price dictated by demand?
I think it's dictated by a lot.
If the rest of baseball also feels like, Michael King's probably maybe a more dominant, better starter, isn't that going to raise his price tag more than Dylan Cease's price tag?
Well, his price tag has come up. There is
absolutely.
no doubt about it. I mean,
it's going up with every start.
Going up with every start. I don't know, man. I do think people are right to say it's May. So why is John Heyman writing about this? John Heyman's also the guy that's been pushing for Michael King and Dylan Cease to be traded to any or all New York teams.
And that ain't happening.
I think they finally are
what's the
realizing that's not going to happen during the season with the way the Padres are
We're
playing.
11 games above 500.
12
games above 500.
So now they pivot to, I honestly, I said it to you this morning. I go, I think this is just a kind of a filler blurb from Heyman, because I don't even think you need to talk to anybody in the organization to just kind of put those two and two together.
Yeah, but I would say it would be more Heyman-like if his filler blurb was, experts don't believe the Padres are going to be able to afford either of those guys. And, the Yankees are known to be in on Cease, and the Mets are going to want to sign Michael King, but the Dodgers are going to get on both of them. At least he wrote, I don't know who said it, but the Padres are hopeful. And it makes me feel like, well, at least there's going to be an aggressive attempt to bring back one of those guys, likely Michael King, at the end of the season.
Maybe he gleaned it from our interview that we had with Eric Grupner, where I asked him, about Michael King, and we're hopeful. I mean, we, obviously we got to, we're trying to win a World Series this year. But I mean, he essentially said, yeah, I mean, obviously you have a guy like Michael King in your organization and Dylan Cease. You want to bring those guys back. Obviously, being able to afford both of them is probably off the table. But I can't say that with any certainty. I would imagine it is.
Would you think there's any chance of an in-season extension for one of those guys?
Sure, absolutely.
If you're Michael King, though, and you're so close, and you're Dylan Cease, and you're so close to the brass ring of free agency,
I mean, you just never know, though.
My gut tells me,
why not wait now until the end of the year?
My gut tells me Dylan Cease is like a Juan Soto type, and that they're destined for free agency.
Yeah, he's going to hit free agency
from the teams and be wined and dined by whoever wants to sign him. I could see Michael King being open to an in-season extension. I just don't know if we can afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Michael King and you really want to come back, you can always still come back at the end of the season. You just have a better negotiating position when you're a free agent. Nothing prevents you from returning to the San Diego Padres because you become a free agent.
Yeah, bro, we've seen some weird stuff over the last few years.
We have.
Guys that you would have thought would sign immediately, they're like 4 weeks into spring training and they don't know where they're going.
Yeah,
right?
and Dylan Cease is in my mind's eye, he's an Atlanta Brave. He makes his home there. It's just
one of you said Yankees yesterday, and
it wasn't me.
I said he seems like a Yankee.
Yeah, I can 100% see that.
I see him as a Brave.
Could be the mustache. Braves, will they pay? I mean, they have been unwilling to pay the going rate for superstars.
For
even when they sign guys, usually it's their below market, discount extended guys. So I don't know if he'll end up with the Braves or not.
It's hard because I at the end of the day, I'm worried. I can't worry about something that's 6-8 months away. We need them both to pitch, like the aces.
I hope
Dylan
Cease gets a $500 million contract because he pitches so well from now until October.
Wins the World Series.
Padre Bot says 4 years, $110 million for King. I just don't see it. That's $27.5 million a year. I don't at the current prices for starting
30.
pitching. Are you telling me there's not a few owners out there who will look at Michael King and be so tantalized that they will authorize, all right, you go up another 5. Let's make sure we land this guy. I just feel like Michael King is good enough. He's a great person. He's someone that you feel good about giving that money to. Every pitcher is a risk, obviously, an injury risk. You can never eliminate that possibility. Even Dylan Cease, as durable as he's been Still a huge injury risk. He's a pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Well, listen, you got injury. So, the injury risk thing pretty much goes out the window as it pertains to starting pitching, because Jacob deGrom makes $37 million a year. Blake Snell makes $36.4 million a year. Garrett Cole, injured, makes $36 million a year. Corbin Burns, $35 million a year.
Why would Michael King take $10 million less than those guys?
Correct.
Yeah, maybe
Tyler Glasnow.
Maybe $2 million less, but not $10 million less.
Tyler Glasnow makes $27 million a year. Max Fried makes $27 million a year. Carlos Rodon makes $27 million a year.
I'd pay Michael King more than Tyler Glasnow.
100%.
Tyler made of glass now.
Correct. Correct.
There's just no chance that, someone's going to want to pay him at least $30 million.
Correct.
At least.
Correct. So now, again, he's having a child. Does he want to raise his family here? Does he want to put down roots? All these things are working the Padres' favor. He's got a foundation here. Great. Boy, we've seen guys get out of town quicker for less money. You know what I mean? It's just
I think the floor is like 5 years, $150 million, like 30 a year, and it probably goes a little up from there for Michael King.
No doubt.
Now, can the Padres do that? Maybe they find a way.
Yeah.
To do that, to keep Michael King. He's I think a really important piece for the Padres going forward. If they can manage it.
One of those guys would make you absolutely sick if he left, just because of who he is personally, who he is professionally, who he is, stuff wise, performance wise. He is a stud, man. He is a stud, and I feel massively comfortable every time he grabs the ball. I can't say the same for really anybody else on the squad right now. He's fantastic.
We will see Michael King in the upcoming Vetter Cup Series against the Seattle Mariners. We'll take a look ahead at the next 3 days coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by City Cruises. We still have this overturned crash in the North County West 56 before Carmel Valley Road. It's over to the right shoulder. And getting reports of some debris in the fast lane on northbound 805 right before the 8. Set sail with Randy Hauser as he lights up the bay for an exclusive concert cruise like no other. Join us on Friday, May 23rd with City Cruises live in San Diego for an epic night of country music, dinner, drinks, and skyline views. Get tickets now at citycruises.com/live. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And don't forget, Padres fans, stay tuned later this morning at 9 a.m. for the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just water. We're just getting ready for our Philly trip later this year.
What's the scenario?
Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
It is Friday, buddy.
I do have some updated pitching matchup. This is MLB.com. I tend to think that they are a little more up to date than the ESPN website when it comes to pitching matchups, because they had TBD listed for all three Mariners starters until last night, this morning. But now officially, as expected, Logan Evans is the scheduled starter tonight.
How many Logans do they have on that team? Every kid's Logan on there.
It is Logan Evans, right?
Yeah, I think it's Logan Evans.
Stephen Kolek going for your San Diego Padres. Nice piece
Logan.
about Stephen Kolek, by the way,
in
the UT. Tomorrow is now listed as Emerson Hancock against Nick Pivetta.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, they actually have Brian Wu now listed going up against Michael King in the series finale.
What a matchup.
Yeah.
What a matchup.
He's one of their few healthy frontline starters that they have left, and it looks like the Padres will not dodge him, as had been speculated perhaps with the earlier pitching matchups that were posted online middle of last week. This week.
Logan Evans, who we will see tonight, is 1-1 with a 3.60, 15 innings pitched. Yeah, looks decent, right-hander. Don't know much about him.
I told you he was a former Padres prospect. Would you believe me?
Yes.
I would too, but I don't think it's true.
Okay. I would absolutely believe it.
Sounds like he could have been a former Padres prospect.
No question. No question. You don't want to see former Padres prospect and player Andres Munoz at all.
You do not.
If you could avoid it this weekend, he's off to a really, really good start. So are the Mariners, man. 23-19, first in the AL West. This is a battle. This is going to be a really, really good matchup. They have what they needed, Ben. Guys are starting to hit for them. Julio Rodriguez is starting to hit. They got Big Dumper Going to go see Cal
Raleigh
Raleigh out
having
there.
a nice season.
Yep, J.P. Crawford's actually hitting a little bit. Randy Arozarena, I'm not sure how he's doing. But yeah, they're playing really well, man. 23-19 for them. Should be a fun one.
Emerson Hancock was their first-round draft pick back in 2020. Sixth overall pick in the draft. Has not done much this year. He's got a 6.91 ERA, 1.71 WHIP. So, he's one of the bodies they're sticking in there while their main guys like Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert are on the injured list right now. And then, of course, Brian Wu is good, and I believe he's had some success against the Padres. Haven't really looked up his career numbers. I just saw they added him to the projected pitching rotation for this weekend for a Sunday's game again against Michael King.
Nice.
Like that piece, though. You did get a chance to read it about Stephen
I skimmed
Kolek.
through it yesterday.
And talking about
who wrote it?
Jeff Sanders,
Jeff
I believe.
Sanders,
Yeah, and the mentorship that Michael King has taken Stephen Kolek under his wing. And of course, it's a good featurey story this weekend because, of course, Kolek was stolen from the Seattle Mariners organization in the Rule 5 draft before the 2024 season. Padres were able to hide him on the roster all year long in the bullpen, at least until he was on the injured list for the last month or so of the year in order to keep him because you can't send Rule 5 draft picks down to the minors. And then this offseason, they converted him back to a starting pitcher where he started his career as going into Camp 44 with Joe Musgrove and, expanding the pitching repertoire. And Michael King seeing a lot of himself in Stephen Kolek in terms of the pitch mix and the weapons and trying to get in Stephen Kolek's head going, okay, you can do this because I could do it. But it took me a couple years here to figure out how do I pitch? How do I pitch? How do I mix my pitches? How do I set up batters when I'm going to face them multiple times? When do I go for strikeouts? When do I go for soft contact? And he's trying to accelerate that learning curve for Stephen Kolek so he doesn't have to go through some of the struggles that Michael King felt he went through as he was making this transition with the Yankees a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, and you made the point yesterday, Kolek has not faced the world's greatest competition yet. He will have a bigger challenge when he squares off against the Mariners tonight. But, with a plan, with the arsenal that he has, a plan to execute it, I mean, why not? Absolutely, why not? What he's shown, anybody can throw a CG complete game shutout in Colorado. Was he shutout? Yeah, Colorado. Yeah. You get an extra start or two from me. You're going to earn a little bit of trust if you can make that, twirl a gem like that. So obviously a lot of confidence to build on from that start, and a pretty good mentor in his ear, Ben, telling him what to do and what not to do. And yeah, like you said, when to try to get a punchy, when to try to get that soft contact. There's so much that goes into this that can make you insane when you think about it.
So yeah, King talked about how he would give up soft contact, and they would say that's fine, kid. I mean, you're doing it right, but it would get through for a hit or would loop in, and you go, and my ERA is 6, and I'm like, I don't want an ERA with 6. I don't want it to necessarily come down to BABIP. If the gods are on my side and it happens to go to a fielder, I'm great. But if it doesn't, what do I do? So, he started learning, okay, when you get to 2 strikes, don't leave it up to soft contact. Get your strikeout pitch in order. Now, if you can get him to swing at the first or second pitch and hit a soft grounder, take your chances because that's, as a starter, that's gold. If you can get an out in 1 or 2 pitches. Now, some of those will get through for ground ball singles or, looping liners that'll fall in. Don't worry about it. Then you come back and you figure out a way to strike out the next guy. It's all about managing the entire game as a whole. It's not necessarily, it's all on this pitch, it's all on this batter. It's like, take the holistic view, as Mike Shildt would say, of your entire start and figure out what's the best way I can beat this team as a whole and, finding a way to mix it up to be effective.
Yeah, excited to watch him pitch, man. It was certainly, it's been great watching him pitch so far, and want to keep those good vibes going at home, certainly. Take it to Seattle tonight. If the offense shows up, we absolutely will win that game. If the offense continues to mash the ball, again, we talked on the roundtable yesterday. Do we want to see a little bit more slug from this team? Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. But the way that they've won ball games, Ben, they haven't quite needed it.
I almost
yet.
said I don't want to see more slug.
Yeah, it from guys like Manny, who's just locked in. He's just hitting.
This is Manny Machado.
That
I don't want to see Manny do anything different.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I'd be happy if he hits 11 home runs, but hits 340 with tons of doubles and
insane.
continues to just nuke the ball every time that he hits it, and it
Plays
just happens to be a
159 games.
line drive with great defense. I could
I'm good.
care less if his home run numbers
He
are
won't
down.
be
This is
happy.
a
He
better,
won't be happy, but I get it.
he'll be
you know?
happy. This is a better version of Manny Machado.
Yeah,
right now.
maybe the best.
I think so. I
Maybe
think
the
this
best.
is the best version of Manny Machado. Now, will I take it if the home runs, as Tony Gwynn Jr. said, they'll start flying out of the yard as the season goes on. It warms up. If you keep hitting it hard, you're going to launch some. Maybe he'll get up to his 30 like he always does, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, Manny's only got 3 home runs. What's wrong? Nothing. Nothing is wrong
Not
at
a-
all. Everything is right.
I'll take this.
Everything is
every
right.
day.
I mean,
Watching him
it's-
hit has been amazing.
I guess depending on how you look at it, it's the best start he's had, certainly as a Padre.
no doubt.
Did have some baseball action yesterday. We can go through some of the results, including a blowout involving the Los Angeles Dodgers at the golf major, second round underway at the PGA Championship, and more. Darren Smith, hour number 2, all coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got my golf fans out there. Round 2 of the PGA Championship is underway. It is it's not exactly a star-studded leaderboard at Quail Hollow Woods. Jonathan Vegas was your first round leader at 7 under par. He's
Jonathan Vegas.
Jonathan. He's from Venezuela.
Okay.
Johnny Vegas is
Johnny
now
Vegas, what a name.
6 under. He's bogeyed early hole today. Cam Davis, Tyrrell Hatton, Aaron Rye, and Ryan Gerard all tied for second place. What happened to all the Rory McIlroy,
where's all the big
Scotty
dogs?
Scheffler,
They're waiting back in the wings.
Xander Schauffele. Yeah, it was kind of an interesting story just quickly yesterday. So
I saw a lot of people complaining about this place.
So,
a lot.
So they had a ton of rain in North Carolina this week, and the course got very soggy, as it will when you have 5 inches of rain in 3 days. But PGA of America, that runs the tournament, didn't want to, tell the players that they're able to lift, clean, and place their golf balls because that's not championship golf. So they said, you got to play it down, play it as it lies.
Even though it's wet and muddy.
And you had a few instances, including for both Xander Schauffele and Scotty Scheffler on the 16th hole, where they hit perfect balls in the middle of the fairway and they get to their ball and it is covered in mud. And then they try to hit their next shot. It goes all
over the place,
janky, and they both spin left into the water. And they both make double bogey, as did Rory McIlroy. All 3 of the top 3 players in the world made double bogey on the same hole. Tough hole, but it cost 2 of them. Both Xander and Rory shot over par. Xander 1 over, Rory 3 over. Scotty recovered. He's at 2 under. He's probably still in pretty decent shape to contend. He's only 4 off the lead right now, but still tied for 27th place. It's just kind of a weird situation. Now the course is drying out. They didn't have any rain yesterday, and they'll probably, it'll look more like major championship golf this weekend. But right now, not a lot of big names on the leaderboard.
You know what's major championship golf to me? Striping a ball down the middle of the fairway, then hitting a really nice second shot to the green. Not hitting a mud ball. That doesn't mean, it's hard enough. The sport, the conditions, they're not getting the roll they normally would because of the wet fairway. You've already handicapped these guys a little bit. Let them clean their ball off and get the mud off of it. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because that's not, you shouldn't be penalized for hitting a ball in the fairway.
So the fear is these guys are so good that if you let them clean the ball perfectly, and then the greens are already soft because of all the rain, it's like playing darts for them. They just throw it
that's
right
what
at
you
it.
want to see.
And but people say, and then the winning score will be like 24 under par.
Oh well, again,
and that makes it like a mockery of all their records and everything. So they tend to not want to do that.
Then do this: make them just play muddy balls or cut ball.
I see. I totally get the argument.
You're penalizing guys for hitting balls in the fairway.
True.
Why?
You shouldn't.
Why?
You're right.
Let them clean their ball and then hit it. It's just such a no-brainer. It makes no sense to me. But I saw people complaining a lot about this course yesterday. This isn't set up for a major at all. And, but people will complain about anything. But, I don't know. I think that's why golf gets a little bit ridiculous at times. It's already a hard game. And it's the only sport where you're like, I don't want to see the best in the world do really well.
I want to see them struggle.
Because that means it's bad. It's bad if the best in the world do poorly. It's a weird thing. You would never want to see. I like when my quarterback goes 1 for 9. That's good football.
I want to go to a baseball game where the fences are 500 feet away. So
never want to see a home run.
Hit a home run. It's just impossible to do that. Let's make the bases 120 feet.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the World Series.
It's the World Series.
Yeah,
we're moving the bases back 30 feet. That's so stupid, dude. Let them clean their balls, Ben. Clean balls are important.
All right. Limited action last night in Major League Baseball on a Thursday. Padres were off, but the Dodgers did rout the Sacramento Athletics. What was the final? 17-3? Something like that.
All I know is I saw
it was 13 something after 3 innings.
Yeah, it was over very, very quickly.
And you ended up with a position player on the mound, and that whole situation at the end of the game.
Dodgers are on one end of a position player pitching game,
like twice a week. I know, dude. I know. Unfortunately for us, it's mostly on the other end. Where they're blowing a team out.
They did get blown out in the first game of the
did.
series, but they ended up coming back to win the series, of course.
Yeah, of course they did. What was the final of that game last night? It was 19-2.
19-2. All right.
19-2. Now, Shohei did hit 2 bombs in 4 innings. It was like 13-2 when he hit. I think he let off with one. And then he comes up in the 4th. They're up 13-2, and he hits another one. So, for my money, I woke up this morning. I was tagged by a bunch of Dodger fans that said, here's some content for you. And it was backup catcher for the Oakland A's, Johnny Pereda, struck out Shohei Ohtani in the bottom of the 8th inning, up 17-2. Runners on second and third, nobody out. Shohei up. And I the first thing I said to my buddy, Steve, I said, who's a Dodger fan, I said, oh, that backfired on old stat pad Ohtani, didn't it? Why is my $70 million a year player that I need in the second half to pitch, and that's been the report, why is he hitting against a position player in the 8th inning up 15 runs? Why is he, of all people, still getting ABs there?
So they took out Mookie Betts.
Yep.
And they took out Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Freddie's playing on one ankle still.
And they
Smart.
took out Andy Pages. But they left everybody else in the game that started for the Dodgers. By they, I mean Dave Roberts.
I would have put Luis Garcia in to hit for Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, what if, now again, position player pitching, you don't worry about him getting dotted or anything like that from a position player. He's not going to get hurt if he gets hit.
I'm watching it right now. I'm watching the
sequence.
That.
Yeah. And he carves him up, dude. 89 top of the zone gets him.
The most shocking thing or the most jarring thing to see, though, is Pereda throwing his pitch and then running about
back
10 feet behind the mound.
Like a slow pitch softball pitcher will throw it
and then they back up real quick.
They should have let him just bring out one of those screens.
An L screen.
He's like almost tripping over the rosin.
Yes, he backs up. He's like, oh, God. The guy's a freak. Like, you don't want him sending your 89-mile-an-hour fastball right back at your dome at 160 miles an hour.
Hunter makes the point. You leave your DH in those games. They're not playing the field. You should take out guys who are in the field to get them off their feet.
He is not a regular DH. He's not. He's not Big Poppy. He's not a regular DH. He is a starting pitcher for you. You hope that you paid an exorbitant amount of money to, who doesn't need to be in there.
Now, you only have 4 backups as position players in the game. So
again,
at most
Luis
you can
Garcia
take out
from
4
the
guys.
bullpen comes in to hit.
And you usually have to save your backup catcher just in case of emergency. So they used all their players. I
Not
guess
all their players.
Well, they didn't use the backup catcher.
You could have used, I would have thrown.
Will Smith did not get into the game.
He did not.
He did not. Well, he was already
getting the night off.
He was getting the night off.
Which is fine.
Which you probably want to leave him off for a night off. You don't want to.
Yeah,
you finally
get an AB.
You finally get your night off for a catcher. You're not going to put him in. So I understand that. So they got all their other backups into the game. I guess the only choice would be, would you have left Pages in and had Taylor then hitting for Ohtani as opposed to,
like I just said, I would have put a pitcher in to hit. Really, like Luis Garcia, anybody, But what if he rips one? And into the gap, and he's going for 2, and he rolls his ankle in a 17-2 game, and I mean, you get killed.
What if your pitcher gets hit going up or hurt going up there?
It's Luis Garcia.
Yeah, but
it's not Shohei Ohtani.
You already have 18 pitchers on the injured
list.
list.
You have 18 more ready to come up.
That's true.
You know, I mean, again, like I don't know.
I'm trying to poke holes in your argument, but you're probably fairly on solid ground here.
Shohei, for me, it would be such a jewel. You know, if I was the manager, be like, bro, yeah, he's going to get his numbers. Like, everybody knows that. And I'm not saying his numbers are cheap.
Would you say just go up there and just stand up there? Don't take a big hack.
Did it have anything to do with his bobblehead night?
Yeah, I just saw Kevin put that. You don't bench him on his bobblehead night. Bro, he'd already hit 2 home runs. I think he delivered. He had like 7 RBIs. I think he delivered enough on his bobblehead.
Is it because he had 2 home runs, a chance to go for another 3 against a position player that he's in there?
Maybe.
But could have backfired.
It could have.
Just a little embarrassment is all that I believe Ohtani suffered.
Ohtani cranks one out.
Yeah, that was actually his 100th bobblehead night of the season. They've only played 41 games, but that was the 100th. They had lines wrapped around Dodger Stadium for like 6 hours for those bobbleheads. I think you can get them on. I think you can get them online for like what are they going for, Paulie? Look up Shohei Ohtani eBay bobblehead. That's a really good side hustle.
Which bobblehead was it last night?
Last night was I don't even know what it looked like. I didn't see it. Yeah, I'm sitting him. For me, like he's too valuable to go up there in a 15-run lead to try to get 2 more RBI.
One from last night going for 150.
150.
Yeah, they're all over $100.
Yeah, crazy. What's it look like?
The one from last night, it's him sliding.
Okay, stealing a bag.
Yeah.
Him at the craps table.
50-50 a bobblehead season commemorating or something like that.
Yeah, that's
sliding
crazy,
into
man.
a blackjack table.
That is it's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. I would be like, sorry, dude, you're sitting, you bubble wrap yourself because you need him in the second half. That's one of the guys you're counting on to.
Oh, it's the 50-50.
50-50. Yeah, makes sense.
Alan says, why are we talking about the stupid Dodgers?
Well, just going around baseball, man.
If you were a former Padres pitcher, you had a pretty good night last night. Nick Martinez, 7 shutout innings.
Oh, Nicky.
For the Cincinnati Reds, beat the White Sox 7-1. Chris Paddock, 7 shutout innings for the Minnesota Twins, the red-hot Minnesota Twins. They blanked the Orioles 4-0 for their 11th consecutive victory.
And they are still in 4th place. Imagine winning 11 games in a row.
This early in the season.
You're like, yes. And then you're like, we're in 4th.
How bad did they start?
I mean, it must have been brutal, dude. Now they're 4 games above 500, man, in 4th place. The AL Central is a juggernaut right now.
So they went from 7 below to 4 above in a week and a half, and they're in 4th place.
11-0, man.
Damn.
The Orioles lost again, dude. They are dying. I mean, they are just dying right now. 9.5 games back already, 15-27, Benny.
The other hot team in the American League is the Texas Rangers.
The Texas
won their
Rangers.
6th straight. Jacob deGrom, healthy and pitching like, Jacob deGrom. 8 innings, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts as the Rangers got past the Astros 1-0 yesterday.
I watched a lot of that game last night during dinner with the kids and was just kind of showing Bo. Hunter Brown I'm a big Hunter Brown fan. Pitches for the Astros, good strapping young kid, fireballer. They had a graphic up after the game talking about his first pitch strikes. I think he throws first pitch strikes to like 94% of the batters he faces. And we always talk about what's the best pitch? Strike one. Always the best pitch. Nobody does it better than Hunter Brown. He just pounds the zone. He gets ahead. Next thing you know, these guys look up. They foul one off, Benny. They're 0-2. He pounds the zone early. He mixes up his pitches early. It's not just straight heaters, but he saw PB talking about it last night. Uses his fastball, the top of the zone. He's nasty. Gets out-dueled by Jacob deGrom, who we all forget because we see him so rarely, how ungodly good that guy is when he's healthy. Ungodly good.
The Texas Rangers.
99 in on the hands, 98 up. Couldn't touch him. I mean, he's just filthy. So, again, Dave Roberts probably would have let him hit in that game. A guy like Jacob deGrom, injured all the time. Get him if he can stay the course through the season, man.
He's got to be one of the most confounding players, maybe of all time.
He's not. It's not confounding. It's just hurt. It makes you insane.
Confounding if you're the team.
Yeah,
if you're the GM and the manager, you're just like, what? This guy is obviously at his best. He commands more than any other pitcher in baseball. He's unbelievable. But how do you stomach those contracts? Knowing it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
So
I know.
The timing of this Texas winning streak is very fortuitous for one Brett Boone.
Oh, 100%.
Who has arrived. And let's be honest, there's nothing a hitting coach can do in 5 minutes. He can't make one quick lap around the clubhouse, say, 3 words to every single one, like shoulder down, hands up, and all of a sudden the team just goes on a tear. Brett Boone is not the cause of the winning
the greatest
streak.
hitting coach of all time.
Yeah, maybe the greatest to ever do it.
But he's certainly going to enjoy the spoils of feeling like, hey, I get here. This team had been struggling so badly that they canned the old hitting coach, and now I get here, and we are one of the hottest teams in baseball.
6 straight for the Texas Rangers.
They only scored 1 run, so it's not like they hit their way to the victory yesterday, but the feelings are good right now in Texas. One other final, the Atlanta Braves beat the Washington Nationals 5-2. Nice development for the Braves. A.J. Smith-Shawver, who looked a little overmatched when he had to go up against the Padres in the wild card series last year, has jumped out to a really good start for the Braves this season.
He's got good stuff.
Joining their rotation full-time, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 unearned run in that win over the Nationals. He's been a nice addition for them this year on a permanent basis.
So what are your thoughts on rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball?
I've always thought it's a little hokey.
Yeah.
I don't mind that they have the Mets, Yankees, and the Dodgers, Angels, and the Cubs, White Sox all playing on the same weekend. The problem is that most rivalries are, of course, are not interleague rivalries.
No, they're division rivalries. Yeah. So I tweeted it with the Larry David gif of him going, It was MLB promoting rivalry weekend. Here's their storylines. Juan Soto makes his return to Yankee Stadium as Met. Good one.
That's the biggest
storyline. That's what you lead off with.
Yeah. He said 50,000 versus 1.
Yeah, he said they're going to just come for him for sure. Terry Francona to face former team in Cleveland. Ooh. Man.
Probably won't tune in for that, but
the battle for Ohio.
Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers go up against his old squad. Okay.
We saw it last year. It's fine.
Former number 1 overall picks Paul Skeens against Bryce Harper matchup. Okay. Pirates,
stretching now.
Pirates, Phillies. Okay. First ever Vetter Cup between Padres and Marlins.
The only saving grace for the Vetter Cup is I'm actually I'm not going to say into it, but I'm more open to it this year because at least they've added the charitable aspect.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And they're kind of doing it up a little bit. Before, it made no sense at all.
Yeah, it was just dumb. A fun bit. But where is Eddie Vedder? That's what I want to know. Is he not coming out to sling the first pitch? I know they're on tour. My mother-in-law just saw them in Nashville and said they slayed it.
When they announced it, I thought, he'll be there for one of the games. I don't know. I don't think I've not heard any news that he'll actually be there for the game.
Well, they've never played Petco Park, and I think that is something that needs to happen sooner than later. I mean, they play Wrigley Field, they played Fenway Park, they played a bunch of parks. Bring your ass, dude.
They should do a concert after one of these games. They used to have the Beach Boys would play after a Padres game.
Beach Boys
at Qualcomm Stadium at the Murph when I was growing up. Well, we went to those Beach Boys games.
Mike Love out
there. It'd be a Sunday afternoon. The Padres
they play 5 songs.
Padres would play, and then they play 7 or 8 songs, and after the game, and it would be the Beach Boys concert at Jack Murphy Stadium after a Padres game.
I wish they all could be Padres fans.
I think they're a little bit. I think they're too big for the post-game concert.
Probably.
I do, as they're selling out massive arenas.
So I didn't even look. Who are the Diamondbacks playing this weekend?
I don't know.
Who's their rival?
I don't know.
Because not every team has
the rival.
They couldn't stretch it into everyone.
Obviously, the number one.
They're playing the Rockies.
Right. That's what I figured. The number one option, if you're from the Padres' perspective, would be the Dodgers this weekend.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, okay, maybe the Dodgers are playing the Giants. No, I'm guessing they're playing the A's this weekend, the old Bay rivalry with the 2 LA teams playing each other. And there's that 5th California team here in little San Diego that's without a rival. And I'm like, bro, Arizona's a hell of a lot closer than Seattle.
I know.
In your division, you could actually make that into a little bit of a rivalry.
So just quickly, the ones that make the least sense. Atlanta-Boston is a natural rivalry. I guess,
That's
Boston Braves moved to Atlanta, and then they became the Atlanta Braves.
The old Detroit-Toronto.
Detroit-Toronto. Now, they're kind
close.
of no, but I mean,
Canada's
Toronto's closer to Buffalo, but you're close to Canada.
I understand. I get it. New York versus New York, Mets and Yankees. How do you not have the Yankees and Red Sox on rivalry weekend?
Yeah, it's weird.
You can't call it rivalry weekend.
It's all interleague, except there's an uneven number of teams, so you have to have 2 National League teams playing each other again. So that's Colorado and Arizona. So there's your rivalry weekend.
Yeah, they've knocked it out of the park once again. Well done, Rob. Well done.
Who does the Pope love more, the Cubs or the White Sox? We'll find out.
Yeah, he's a
All right, we'll come back. We've got Don't Do This, former Major League, former Brave in the Don't Do This crosshairs today.
Former Dodger.
Also a former Dodger.
He's a former Dodger for the purposes of this story.
Fair enough. It's coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, listen, don't know what you're up to this weekend, but if you are in the market to get a new whip, wanted to tell you about Sedano Ford. Head on over. We were just talking about Detroit. My dad grew up there. His father worked for Ford for his entire life. Definitely a brand we can get behind in the Woods family. Memorial Day hits different at Sedano Ford. Manny Sedano isn't just the owner. He's a veteran. It's a local-owned dealership, all about serving San Diego and having the mega sale right now in their dealership in La Mesa. All the deals are locked in. Drive home the new 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning XLT. It's just $129 a month. The Escape Active or Bronco Sport Big Ben, Your pick, just $219 a month. And if you want size and strength, and who doesn't? The F-150 XL Super Crew Cab, just $299 a month. Room for the crew and muscle for any job you got in front of you. Keeping it running is easy. Sedano Ford mobile service comes right to your home or office. No waiting rooms, no hassle. Take care of you, get you in the car or truck of your dreams this weekend when you go in. Let them know Woodsy sent you. For more details about these offers, head on over to Sedano Ford or go to SedanoFord.com. Once again, SedanoFord.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Got Darren Smith coming up in our next segment, so let's get right to it. DDT brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. We're just going one of each today, Woods. I'll let you get us started.
So, former Major League shortstop Rafael Furcal is in a bit of hot water. This is an interesting headline that came out yesterday. Former Dodger, Atlanta Braves. I remember about Furcal that he had an absolute cannon of an arm. Well, put it to good use, or I guess bad use. He turned himself into the Broward County Jail on Wednesday, was released on bail a short time later. He's charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and, quote, throwing a missile into a public or private dwelling or vehicle. I'll read that again. Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and throwing a missile into a public or private dwelling.
See, now that doesn't sound like an actual charge. That sounds more like an
act of war
description of something.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
I assume he didn't throw an actual like a missile, like an ICBM, into a car or a house.
My guess is no. I've been surprised before.
Is it just like a projector? They mean like a
projectile? Why don't they just call it a projectile?
Like, but it's a deadly weapon. So he threw something deadly.
Did he make this? Do you buy missiles?
If you throw anything hard enough, it could be a deadly weapon, right? Could a baseball be a deadly weapon if he threw it hard enough? Because he, as you said, he's got that cannon of an arm.
Was it a slingshot and they call it like the wrist rocket? And
no, he says he threw a missile. He didn't project. He didn't shoot it. He threw it.
If somebody threw a missile at you, I mean, those are big and heavy. Wouldn't that you just go, ow? Did you just throw a missile at me?
It's just somebody says a missile means
it landed on my foot.
Just an airborne object that can cause harm. A small rock or a piece of brick could be a missile. So that pen, look at that. Oh, right in the nuts, too. Look at that. Right in the nuts. They're throwing missiles at you guys. Everyone start throwing missiles.
We're just throwing things at Ben right now.
Apple. Look, take that. Look at you. Paul, you're not getting put in handcuffs by the end of the show.
Broward County. You guys would be in a lot of trouble.
I'll just turn myself in right now. I threw a pen.
Ben's throwing missiles at me.
I threw a pen and an apple and a piece of paper. 94 to the ribs just now.
All right. I mean, do you think this was like some sort of argument and he just picked up something dangerous and threw it very hard at someone?
Or? Like a road rage incident where he got pissed off and threw something out of the car at somebody? But man, it was just an interesting headline. I mean, they let him ride out on bail, so I don't think he's in that much trouble. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to do
apple
this.
Hurt right in the ribs. Nice.
Mega doo-doo.
Got a bruise or anything?
Yeah,
mark?
There's a little mark right there. Sorry.
God. How about a little lacrosse bowl? That was great.
I'm definitely a flincher.
Oh, God.
Definitely a flincher. All right, we always love these stories. You knew what was going to happen. Darvish on his rehab stint with the El Paso Chihuahuas, and the word coming out, of course, he did the right thing.
Of course he did.
Treated all the players for El Paso to a big steak dinner. Now, I didn't see specifically where he got it, but I did look back in the record. So when he was on rehab assignment with the Cubs many years ago, he had Ruth's Chris cater the whole thing. Steak, fish, potatoes, vegetables for the entire team.
Such a good move.
Going all out. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did something similar. Now, they were in Vegas, so he's got no shortage of steakhouses of which to choose from while he was there, and I'm sure they ate quite well, courtesy of one Darvish on Wednesday night in the El Paso Chihuahuas clubhouse.
The least surprising headline I've ever seen, but it always puts a smile on my face when those guys do that.
Love that.
I just think it's so cool.
And that is don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
And San Diego FC make it 4 wins in a row. They will be back in action tomorrow night, and our friend and SDFC broadcaster Darren Smith will join us when we come back. Talk all about it, the Padres, and more coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I want to tell you about Prize Picks. It is baseball season. I love Prize Picks during baseball season. It is daily fantasy where you're just picking more or less on stats, player stat projections every single night. You could go small. Just pick 2 players, like one on each team that you're watching. You can take a pitcher on one team, a batter on the other team, watch the head-to-head matchups. That's your whole lineup for the night. Or you can go big, 6 players, multiple teams, different games that you're watching, and win up to 2,000 times your money. With Prize Picks, you're part of a community with millions of members who get paid quickly. It's very easy to withdraw your cash when you win. It's easy to upload it into your account with Venmo, with Apple Pay, with MasterCard, however you want to do it. Safe and easy. I've been doing it for a long time. I've taken plenty of money out. It is right there. About 15 minutes is all it takes to get it back into your account. When you sign up, if you want to start playing tonight, make sure you use the code KWFN when you download the app, because when you do, you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. $50 instantly with the code KWFN on your first $5 lineup. And today is Flex Friday. Make sure you opt in, tap the checkbox in your lineup builder to be eligible for the protected play, which means either you win and win money, or if you lose, they just give you your money back. It's protected. That's what protected means. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Two-match week for the SDFC squad after a win on Wednesday. They're back in action tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. I was excited to see good turnout, not sellout, but opposite of the Padres game. Yep. Still had a lot of people at Snapdragon Stadium on Wednesday night for the 2-0 win over the Colorado Rapids. And we are going to chat with Darren Smith. Do you want to get to this now or traffic first, Paulie?
Let's hit traffic
All right,
first.
we're going to hit traffic, and then Darren will join us in just a moment here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Department of Public Works, County of San Diego, and funded by Cal Recycle. Well, good news for westbound 56 travelers. They finally cleared that accident at Carmel Valley Road, so speeds are improving there, and really no other incidents, accidents, or surprises on our roads at this time. Meaning, of course, still going to see some of that usual slowing in the usual spots, but at least nothing getting in your way at this time. Bring in a used oil filter and get a new one free from County of San Diego Recycling at AutoZone stores in Ramona, Fallbrook, Lakeside, Spring Valley, and Valley Center on May 17th. That's tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Restrictions apply. Details at wastefreesd.org. Funded by Cal Recycle and Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, joining us right now, San Diego radio legend, SDFC broadcaster Darren Smith, back from Spain. Darren, looks like you made it back safely. Did you smuggle anything back into the country through customs?
Well, that's kind of a personal question.
You shouldn't tell us.
It is, yeah, don't tell
I
us.
don't know that I should be admitting such a thing on such a popular radio show like Ben and Woods. So
we have a lot of
just going
customs
to
agents.
say, absolutely not. Of course. Do you think I would smuggle jamon iberico back in my suitcase, even if it was vacuum sealed? Do I seem like that kind of person to you?
I was anchoring the news last night, and one of the stories was someone was trying to smuggle parrots into the across the border. He had them in his boots.
In his boots?
Yeah, he had them in his trunk. He had them under a blanket in the back of his car. And
nothing to see here.
All the birds have been quarantined.
I always like when somebody tries to smuggle like a tiger,
I know,
a baby tiger across the border. Like, even if you were successful with that, what was your plan with the tiger once you got into San Diego?
It's incredible. We were asking this question earlier in the program. I said, man, I mean, it's great to get back here. This is always a great place to return from vacation. It's not like you're flying back into Akron, for your, it's cold and gray. Like, it's a great place to come home from any vacation. That being said, that vacation you were on looked pretty amazing. How bad is the vacation depression?
It's real.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more real for my wife than it is for me. And because she was doing things that she's dreamt of her entire life. She was riding horseback on the beaches, riding these Frisians up and down. And occasionally it's like after we got married, one time I walked into the kitchen and, she was cooking or cleaning or doing something, and she was wearing her wedding veil. I was like, oh, like, you're still thinking
I
about
love
the
it.
wedding here, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I will find her from time to time looking at videos and looking at pictures, and she still has a group chat open with these people who she went horseback riding with. So, it's definitely a little bit of, I don't know what postpartum is like, but it has that kind of feel.
Yeah, wistful.
For me, I think it's a little sticker shock. Like everything's so expensive.
Yes,
We bought strawberries yesterday for $10. We were buying strawberries for $3 in Spain. So it's a little sticker shock there, but it was an amazing trip. I feel very blessed to have been able to do stuff like that in our life. And honestly, like I mean, thank the people who supported our radio show for so many years, because that's the thing that allowed us to do it. But it was amazing. It just makes us want to go back at some point someday.
So, Darren, you got home in time for a nice win, 2-0 for SDFC on Wednesday, including Anders Dreyer's sixth goal of the season.
Peter.
Now, I finally got a chance to meet him. I went out to practice earlier this week. Seems like a really cool guy. I know Chucky was kind of the biggest name that they signed, but Anders has really been the star of the team so far. And, he's 27. I mean, he's still in his prime. And I guess the knock on MLS was always like, hey, you may get some stars, but they're going to be well past their best years after they've already been spent in Europe. But feels like this guy still could be, a top player anywhere in the world right now.
Yeah, and in fact, he really was before he signed with SDFC. And even I think a lot of us who follow European soccer, it wasn't exactly a name that we were familiar with. There was much more conversation about Chucky Lozano or about Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City. And, then they went out and used a designated player spot on Anders Dreyer. And it was sort of like who is this? He didn't play for one of the bigger clubs, but he did play in one of the bigger leagues. And as recently as December, he was playing for a club that was playing in European competition, right? There's Champions League, which we talked about last week. That's where I was. And then, the second level of European football is called Europa League. And he was playing for a team that was in Europa League competition. So, he's playing at a pretty high level. He's putting up some really good numbers. He's definitely got some ability to score. He scored a hat trick. He's famously known for scoring a hat trick outside of the 18-yard box, 3 goals from distance. So, he's not afraid to shoot it. He's been really, really good inside of the box. And I've met him a time or two as well. And he's pretty dialed in. He seems to really appreciate living in San Diego. We've talked a little bit about him exploring the local culture. He made his way down to Tijuana to go to a Cholos game. So I really thought that was a cool thing that he went and wandered around in Tijuana one afternoon on a Sunday when they had an off day with his family. So he's really, not only performing on the field, but like a lot of these guys on the team, they really find themselves, from other places that have never been here before, and really immersing themselves in the local culture, which I think is freaking great.
I do too. And it's like the first thing I learned when I moved here is like, hey, dude, nobody cares where you're from. Just be in on this, right? Like you'd have guys come on the radio here and they're like, well, I'm from Boston. And everyone's like, well, then go back to Boston. Like nobody cares about how it was in Boston. Nobody cares about Texas. Nobody cares about New York. You come here, you be in. And if you're in, you're in. Like that's how it's great. And they're smart. I mean, Jackson Merrill's done the same thing. It's not rocket science here, but I thought, Ben was telling me when he talked to him, he's taking his kids and family to Padres games and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, man, that's exactly what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I'm with you 1,000%. I always remember that when it was Jake Peavy, when Jake Peavy got extended by the Padres, he really felt like it was important for him to live in San Diego year round.
Yep.
Right. There was that famous story about him and everybody in his town of Mobile, Alabama, going to church to pray for the Peavies while they were going off to California. They're going to be around all those sinners. You got to pray for Jacob and Katie and make sure that they don't get corrupted.
Oh, it's so good.
That's its own separate story. But, it was important for him. And I think it meant a lot to people in San Diego, which is why Jake remains a fan favorite here to this day. And the fact that these guys, and it's different, obviously they're in Denmark and Sweden and other places around the world. And, it's such a long season. You understand, that they're going to want to spend time away when they do get a little bit of a break. But I love that part of it. The guys don't just come here and they don't feel like mercenaries. They don't feel like they're just doing a job. They feel like they're actually part of the fabric of the city, which is what the club should be all about and what it's striving to be.
The other thing the match I thought was cool about it on Wednesday, you had one of the rare saved penalty kicks. When CJ Dos Santos made the save, it was 2-0. So you want to keep that edge late in the match, and he did. What's your general feeling though? Sometimes when I watch soccer, it's so hard to score, and then all of a sudden, the whistle blows and the referee points at the spot, and it's like now it's so easy to score. I don't know what the official conversion rate is, but feels like it's 80% or so. The guys make it. So those calls are so impactful in games when they give them those penalty kick opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's actually higher than 80. I think it's somewhere closer to 90. And what was really cool about that with CJ is, this is the fourth time he's faced a penalty kick this season, but it's the second time against Colorado. And it's the second time against that guy, Georgi Mihailovic, who took the penalty kick on Wednesday night. And I talked to CJ a couple of weeks ago about that, and he did his research. It's not as random as, a flip of a coin as people would suggest. I mean, sometimes, like Landon Donovan used to say when he would approach a penalty kick, sometimes he really didn't know, was he going to go left? Was he going to go right? Was he going to go middle? But that's Landon. I think a lot of these guys now have plans, and there's a lot of video on these guys, and there's a lot of trends. And CJ told me that first one that he faced in Colorado, he said, I studied that. I knew what he was going to do, and I went the right way, and he got it past me, so credit to him. But that irritated me. I got it right. I made the prediction, and he still scored. And I can't wait to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him a little later today. And I can't wait to ask what it was like preparing for that again, like getting a second bite at the apple against the same penalty kick taker. So, yeah, I mean, it's impactful. It's an impactful moment. It's a low-scoring sport. So one penalty kick, one referee decision can change the game, which is why I'm still moaning about that one from a couple of weeks ago. But, it is exciting. It is dramatic. And, ultimately, denying a goal scoring opportunity, there should be some consequences there. And, the penalty kick is part of the sport.
The great Darren Smith joins us this morning on Ben and Woods. When you came in before the season, and it was actually before you announced you were going to be going there, you were kind of giving us a preview of the team. You were sitting there right next to me. And, I think CJ Dos Santos was a guy that you weren't super sure about. Got some talent. Obviously, he's been kind of a revelation for this team. D. Smith, he's got how many clean sheets does this dude have now? Five. That's pretty outstanding. Pretty outstanding for him. Is he kind of maybe your biggest surprise so far for this team?
Yeah, I think it's the most pleasant surprise for sure. A lot of these guys, it's just that you didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And you figured a player like CJ, who grew up in Philadelphia, right in the Philadelphia area, spent a little bit of time in the Philadelphia Union MLS Youth Academy, went off to Europe. You can only, evaluate it so much based on what it is that you kind of read. And, he was a backup in Miami, and you're like, well, if you're a backup in MLS, what sort of commentary is that about you? But, fact of the matter is in sports, right? Like if it's AJ Preller, if it's the Padres, sometimes guys just slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys just don't get opportunities, and maybe circumstances in Miami where, we're bringing in Messi, so we're not really sure we're going to go with a 24-year-old here. Maybe we need to go with somebody that's a little bit more experienced, right? Not that he's not impressive in training, but we've invested a lot in Messi and these other guys from Barcelona. So, I do think it's still possible in MLS that guys just do slip between the cracks, and they just need an opportunity, right? Like, it's the Stephen Kolek. It's maybe not the best example, but you know what I'm saying? Like guys just haven't been given the opportunity, and when they're given one, you're our number one keeper. We're going with you to start the season. We believe in you, and you have a coach as popular or as positive as Mike Ibarras. That matters to somebody like CJ. So I'm really, really happy for his success. To your point, we just didn't know. And now I think we do know. And I really wonder how high his ceiling could be.
It's like Robert Suarez, pitching in Japan, Jeremiah Estrada cast aside. Sure. I mean, it happens all the time in baseball. But no, he's been fun to watch. The team's been fun to watch. Now for you, you had to come back. You had to cram for the Wednesday game. Then you got another game on Saturday. How is the study sessions? How have they been?
Yeah, running the risk of sounding like Lou Holtz, right? The old Lou Holtz when he was coaching at Notre Dame, and they would play William and Mary, and he's man, this is
gonna be tough.
This is a better team.
Yeah.
I'm having those kind of feelings with Sporting KC. Like they're not a good team. They fired their coach, and your results have been hard to come by for them. And they're playing their third consecutive road match. They played at Portland last weekend. They played at St. Louis, not the longest trip for Kansas City, but still. And now they have to come back to the West Coast. but I watched them yesterday. I'm like, well, that guy's pretty good, and that guy's pretty good, and that goalkeeper made a couple of big saves. And with Galaxy up there next, you look at the standings, you think, wow, this is an opportunity where you'd probably feel pretty disappointed not to come away with 6 points in the next 2 matches. But it's MLS, and weird things happen in this sport, and they are showing some signs of improvement for where they were earlier this year. They were just dreadful. They lost their first 5 games, but they've got a couple of players here who I'm sure are worthy of paying attention to. That being said, it should be 3 points. It should be 3 more on Saturday night. And it should be an opportunity to really take care of the Galaxy here and, establish yourself at the almost midway point of the season as a team that really, really looks like a playoff team.
Already in second place in the Western Conference. They say their form is good right now. In soccer.
Form is
you
good.
would never say Padres are in good form right now. That's only in soccer.
I'm going to tell Shildt that. Yeah, I'll incorporate
in
it.
good form.
Yeah,
right
guys
now.
are in good form right now.
They also
What do you guys have? Who's coming up at the top?
Shildt
at 9. Yeah.
Yeah, here's your first question. Ask him, because I hear this on European soccer podcasts all the time when they welcome a guest in, right? Like, here's Ben Higgins. Hey, Ben, how's the form?
He's going to go, what? What are you talking about?
What'd you say, boy?
Yeah, what'd you say, boy?
Just be like, hey, Shilty, how's the form
How's
today?
the form?
They also call practice training. Every single time. It's not practice. It's training.
So ask him his form. We also need to ask Shilty what his favorite Pearl Jam song is.
Oh, he's a big Pearl Jam guy. Huge.
Yeah. Huge.
Thank you, brother.
Right, Darren, I hope he realizes the stakes of the weekend.
They're massive.
Have a good weekend, Darren. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Guys.
Thanks, brother.
Darren Smith, SDFC broadcaster, as the team looks to continue their good form tomorrow night against Sporting KC.
I can't get the visual of his wife in her veil. In the kitchen, just putting her. My wife doesn't do that. Doesn't bust out the wedding dress very much and put it on and dance around the house.
I just realized
probably not a fond memory for her.
She still have the wedding dress?
Sure, but I'm sure it's not the fondest memory for her marrying me.
My wife's cousin's husband's family owns Sporting KC. They're like big Kansas City people. I've never really followed the team at all, but they're not doing well.
Here comes a ticket request.
I don't know. I don't. You're going already. You're representing the show.
Allegedly we're going. Yeah,
as long as it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
All right, we got Shilty and more in the second half of Ben Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Really appreciate you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Morning to you, gentlemen. Nice, fun 2 hours so far. We got 2 hours left to go. We got the skipper, Mike Shildt, joining us at 9 a.m.
Yep. Don't forget the manager's report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
That's right. We've been keeping it soft since 1975. Very soft guys. I think both of us.
Yeah, especially me.
I'll give you that. In a contest of softness, you probably win it. But I'm not far behind. Was unable to jump a car yesterday, just adding to the list of...
Jump a car.
You heard me?
Jump a car.
Yeah, you heard me. I jumped to jump start a car. I was unable
jump
to do
a car. I was thinking
not jump
like
over.
I was thinking like NBA slam dunk contest where they pull the car out onto the court and you had to
jump
a
car.
Why would I
over
do
a
that?
car to dunk a basketball. I'm going, of course you couldn't jump a car. Jump a car.
Jump start
Red
a
to
car.
red, black to black.
Correct.
Couldn't figure it out.
But it wasn't a regular car.
So that's where I feel like a little bit of grace. So we had Bo had a play date with his buddy Vance, and Vance's grandfather came over and was waiting. You know, they were going to let him play in the street for a while, and we were playing some baseball. And I said, does Vance need? No, he's good. You guys just play. I'll be in my car doing my work or whatever. I said, all right, nope. So he's sitting out in his car, and I guess the battery went dead. And so my wife says to me, can you help him jump his car? I said, me? You want me to help him jump his car? Okay, sure. Let's give this a whirl. Now he had a hybrid. And so I pull my car up to the front to go hood to hood, right?
Sure.
But it's not where you do it in a hybrid. It's in the back.
His engine or battery or whatever it is not in the front. Got it.
Correct.
All right, that's fair.
So
not everybody knows that.
I had no idea. So then he goes to the back, opens it up. And he's working on his part. Like, I'm going to do my part over here. Hannah's got the internet open looking for the right way to do it. He'd never done it. He's not a car guy either. So I open mine, and then I take the clips, and I put them on there.
Alligator clips?
Alligator clips, put them on there. Crank up my car. I did see some smoke, a couple of wisps of smoke come out of my battery at one point.
Okay.
And sure enough, man, I sit in there, let it run. It said let it run about 2 to 3 minutes. So we did. Took it off, got the clips off, shut my hood. He goes to start his car, didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I go, look, this is probably user error. I probably did something wrong. He goes, I don't know, who knows with this thing. So he ends up calling AAA. AAA guy comes out, he gets it jumped in 30 seconds. 30. Done. Out the door. All right,
they have like a special thing to do it.
I guess. Still.
They don't take their own truck and pull the hood. They actually have like a battery starter.
Yeah, they did it, man.
Yeah,
they did.
I just go straight to the AAA. I don't even try to do anything myself.
I was wondering why we even tried it if he did have AAA, but he got it done and got out of town. Or got out of the neighborhood. But yeah, just another embarrassing moment. In front of my wife as well. Like, sorry.
It's interesting because your story actually relates to two of the more interesting stories I anchored last night at Channel 10.
Did he?
First one, you were talking about the smoke coming up from the battery.
Yeah.
So apparently there's this new TikTok trend where kids take their school-issued Chromebooks and like jam something metal into the port to try to cause it to spark and catch fire, and then they film it and post it on TikTok, which of course is property destruction, and it's school property, and it's like that's a horrible thing to do.
Now, we haven't posted a TikTok to the Ben and Woods account in a little while.
About a year.
So Ben, you got your laptop?
On you?
Yeah, Channel 10 will not want me to put my.
But it could go viral.
No, I see. It's not worth going viral for even a Chromebook. It's about $400 bucks.
They're not cheap.
I mean, Adam will pay $500 right now for a viral
video. He would actually.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
Because it's a TikTok trend. That's what a lot of those trends are, just dumb things that kids do and then repeat that they see other kids doing and post it on the internet.
You just posted again your crime. You absolute moron. Here's Jimmy posting, all right, Jimmy, your parents now owe us $400. Like, they're not the smartest I guess kids have never really been that smart. When we committed crimes and stuff, though, we at least didn't film them.
But now they do.
Now they film them.
Constantly.
It's constant. I just robbed this kid. Look at this. Look at all this loot that I got.
It's not just kids. I mean, the whole, when Patrick Mahomes and all the athletes were getting robbed, that's how they got caught. They posted, hey, we just robbed a famous professional athlete here.
Why? I guess there's part of me that I can remember not being the greatest with like school property. I would write on desks and stuff like that. I would write on them, but I wouldn't try to light them on fire or jam switchblades in them or anything. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, let's ruin this computer is a weird trend.
It's so weird that I thought I had the same feeling. And then the other part is you mentioned your Bo's friend Vance.
Yeah.
I thought all his friends were named Jackson.
Well, most of them,
because that's I thought most popular name right now. But we actually had a story. What is the most popular baby name from last year, boys and girls? And the answer is Liam and Olivia.
Yeah, I love
for a
both of
boy
those
and
names.
a girl.
Yeah.
And here's the part that really stunned me. It's been Liam and Olivia every year since 2019.
That's crazy.
Every single year, the most popular boy's name in America is Liam, and the most popular girl's name is Olivia.
Yeah.
Every year.
I just looked it up. The old prep service a couple of days ago had some stats on this. Like
probably heard it on your favorite local radio show.
It's more than just Olivia and Liam. Like girls' names. Emma is a top 5 name every year since 2002.
Makes sense.
Amelia has moved up. Charlotte was in the top 10 for the 11th year.
I know Charlotte.
Mia, Sophie, Isabella,
Those are great
Evelyn,
names.
Ava, and Sophia.
Girls' names are so much more beautiful and sweet than boys' names.
Top 10 boy names from last year were Liam, which has been in the top 5 for 12 straight years. Noah, top 5 for 14
Liam
years
and
in a row.
Noah.
Right?
Liam and Noah Gallagher.
Aren't you going to see them this summer?
How do you not have a Liam and a Noah?
It's not for lack of trying.
I was going to say, was that on the list?
Waylon was my first choice. Waylon Woods, I thought sounded good. Hannah wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing. Waylon would have been awesome.
Oliver, for the 6th straight year, was a third most popular name. Theodore, James, Henry, Mateo, Elijah, Lucas, and William.
While we're talking about kids in school and stuff, can we have a conversation? I just want to have a conversation. This is just a conversation.
Just asking the questions.
I'm just asking the question. Got assignment yesterday for my son, Bo, 7 years old, first grade, wrapping it up, a few weeks left of school. And Hannah said, listen to this. And she played me this song that Bo needs to memorize in its entirety for his first grade class. I've got it for you. Paulie has it.
Yes, I do.
The whole song.
The Planet song.
Oh, the Planet song. Check this out. We're just having a conversation.
There are 8 planets in the solar system. We revolve around the sun. Join us to learn about the different planets. Now sing along and have some fun.
Okay, so far so good.
My name is Mercury. I'm the second hottest planet, the closest one to the sun. A year on my surface is 88 days. I'm the smallest, but I'm lots of fun.
Okay.
My name is Venus. I'm the hottest planet, but the second planet from the sun. I'm the brightest planet.
You get the point.
Yeah.
It's 3
I
minutes.
was worried
long.
they were going to have to try to come up with something to rhyme with Venus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Uranus. I am Uranus. That's right, Uranus. I haven't heard the Uranus part. I didn't make it that far.
It's lengthy.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes long.
Even eliminating Pluto, which is no longer a planet. 8 now, not 9.
So, do you remember how it starts?
We are the planets of the solar system, and we all like to have some fun, or something like that.
So, my question
Hey,
was,
chunks. My name's Uranus. I am blue in color. I'm the 7th planet from the sun.
Is this one guy who's
Uranus is
changed?
blue in color. That's not your best day.
Call your doctor.
Call your doctor ASAP.
Is this one guy who's just changing his voice
Maybe.
slightly and like
Maybe.
putting it all together, or is this actually 8 different guys who sound awfully similar?
Name's Uranus. I am blue in color.
I think he's
I'm
changing
the
his
7th
voice.
planet from the sun. Humans have named me the icy planet because I am the coldest one.
Okay. So my question, and again, I just want to have a conversation. Can we just have a conversation on this? What? Why is this important?
Kids are learning facts about the planets,
For
our
what?
solar system.
For what?
All right, you just blew my mind. You're right.
For what?
Oh, I mean, dude, how much time do you have? I could do
That's
hours.
what I said.
on
I want
learning.
to have a
Learning the
conversation.
planets. The only thing that you get from learning the planets is knowing the names of the planets.
Do you use that?
It will never
information
affect
ever?
your life really whatsoever, unless I guess if you become an astronomer
or an
and are
astronaut.
studying the solar system.
See,
for-
now this is where I just wanted to
but-
have a conversation, because if you can convince me, that's the question. Satan's blowfish.
But-
What's the question? The question is why? What's the point?
My name's Uranus.
Isn't a ton of learning pointless though?
That's kind of my point.
But
Yeah.
practicing learning is always good to do.
Practicing learning is great. It's great.
I don't even, and your kids are still just a little young for a lot of the core schooling that I'm thinking about, but like cursive, I think it was 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade for me. Haven't used cursive since. I have to imagine kids nowadays with tablets
So,
and laptops.
Again, I'm getting answers here. I'm getting answers. So Satan's blowfish is incensed. I would ask why.
I like knowing a lot of pointless stuff.
Okay.
And I do. Like I can do a crossword puzzle because I know tons of pointless stuff, but it doesn't really do anything other than make me feel happy that I know a bunch of pointless
I'm just
stuff.
asking what Katie says to learn simple physics to spark interest in their future learning so that one day they'll know how to jump a card. That's a very low blow by you, Katie. That is a very, very
got your ass
low blow. Again, I just said, I'm just asking the question. KG says, what would you prefer them to learn? Tax brackets. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
No.
How a deductible works.
How a deductible works.
I think I've told you this before. There was a post on, I don't know, Twitter, Instagram, something from years ago that I remember. It blew my mind. And it was just, I didn't learn in high school how to apply for a loan,
Correct.
how to use
How to
credit
apply for a
cards,
job.
what
Now he's
insurance
7 and
is.
4. I get it.
I know this is more like high school, middle school, but it was like I don't know anything about insurance. I don't know anything about my student loans, but thank God that I know the Pythagorean theorem.
Correct.
And I go, yes.
Now, again, I just asked the question. I'm not
All right, but
ripping
if-
on the curriculum.
if
I'm
we-
just, what is like him having to memorize this 3-minute song about planets? It's great. Like, have fun with it, whatever. It sparked something in me yesterday. And I asked Hannah, what is the point? And Hannah usually pushes back on me. She goes, yeah, you're right. What is the point?
Well, if we didn't get, young children into things like science and math, then we wouldn't end up with any scientists or
mathematicians. Yeah.
mathematicians,
How about
which
teaching them math?
would probably be bad.
Or how about just work on some math?
I'm sure they're doing math.
Yeah, they
right?
do a little
They
math.
do some math.
I don't know. I was just asking the question. Don't attack me. I was just asking the
No,
question.
I'm with you. There's a lot of pointless stuff that we learn that you spend a whole year in school learning,
Stressing out about.
and you never revisit it again.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had to write anything in cursive after 4th grade or whatever it was.
No, I just again.
Eventually, you just started typing everything.
I defer to the teachers because you guys are incredible. You guys know how much I respect teachers. I think you have the hardest job on the planet. You have to watch our kids, teach our kids, discipline our kids when we're at work or sitting on our ass sometimes. You know
have
what
to
I mean?
teach kids boring stuff that they have zero interest in
For
all
sure,
day.
for sure.
That is difficult.
Tessa said, I knew this question would turn the chat into turbo mode. It absolutely, I'm just asking the question.
I mean, there's practical knowledge, and then there's academic knowledge.
Could you just, didn't we all just have to learn like the names of the planets and then that was
course.
kind of it? Yeah.
I mean,
I don't remember.
I still don't. I couldn't tell you like the order that they go
No,
in.
me neither. Is there an acronym for them? I remember the Great Lakes, Holmes. I'll never forget it. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. I'll never forget Holmes from when I was a kid. But
MVEM JSUN.
Magnificent.
Yeah, there we go. Nailed it.
I don't know of maybe I said my very educated mother just served us nachos.
My very educated mother just served us nachos. That is fantastic.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. My very educated mother just served us nachos.
I was just curious. I'm getting killed. It's again. And it's hard because as a parent, you're like, hey, just do what they tell you. Zip your lip. Don't question everything. Just go do what they tell you.
Book smart, street smart.
Correct. That's exactly right.
When I was a kid, I didn't like connect the dots. There was a TV show running when I was a kid. It was called Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
And I go,
what is that?
What does that mean?
That's Earth.
I'm like, oh, Mercury, Venus, Earth. We're the third rock from the sun.
That's right.
I'm like, whoa, blew my mind.
You should have memorized that song.
I had street smarts though. I had TV to tell me.
Guess what I get to do all weekend? Play me a little more.
Let's see here.
My name's Uranus. I am blue in color. I'm the seventh planet from the sun.
Absolutely.
Humans have named me the icy planet because I am the coldest one. My name is Neptune. I am blue in color. I'm the 8th planet from the sun.
In my mind, I'm trying to figure out the chorus.
I have too many storms in my atmosphere, and I'm the furthest planet from the sun. There are 8 planets in the solar system. We revolve around the sun.
Kind of a banger.
Join us to learn about the different planets. Now sing along and have
Gabriel in the chat.
fun.
Gabriel needs to relax. He said hating on physicists, astronomers is crazy. No one's hating on them. He's 7 years old. He's not a physicist nor an astronomer. Maybe one day he will be. I don't know how much that song is going to spark that. And no one's hating on them. They're the like most brilliant people on the planet. But I was just curious.
I don't know how useful it is to know every track that Pearl Jam ever released, but
also
guess
true.
what?
I know.
You do know it.
That's right.
So, we pick
but they
up
didn't
these...
teach me that in school.
I'm trying to think of
We
what
pick up
song,
knowledge.
Like, do you guys remember any songs you had from your school days? God, elementary school, we had the States.
I remember
song.
the Conjunction Junction, the ones from TV.
Yeah, I remember that from
Schoolhouse
TV.
Rocks.
I'm
that's
just
about
a
it.
bill.
Yeah, no,
Only a bill.
Richard, you're right. He says teaching them to be curious about stuff in a fun way. Everything doesn't have to be practical. Obviously, you're thinking like an adult and asking why instead of just enjoying stuff.
There you go.
For sure. Absolutely.
I guess if I
was just asking the question.
If you're 7 years old and you have to learn about the solar system, I guess
That's
song.
the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Math is a wonderful
Full
thing.
thing. Yeah, get off your athletes, do some math.
See, math ain't fun. Jack Black.
Jack
made it
Black
fun.
made
There's
it
actually
fun.
no math in that song.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He had some math.
Oh,
in
it's later in the song.
No, he says like 8
You know,
minus 4 is 4. It was very elementary math. No, it's not.
Get off your athletes, do some
See?
math. 3 minus 4 is...
-1.
-1.
That's right. And 6 times a billion is...
6
6 billion?
Nailed it. And 54 is a 45 more than what is the answer, Marta?
9.
No, it's 8.
No, it's 9.
Yes, I was testing you. It's 9. And that's a magic number.
Never forgot it. So I'm just gonna play this on repeat all weekend.
How else would you know that 54 is 9 more than 45 without that song right there?
I never would have. So again, just ask the questions. I love all of you. I love all the astronomers, all the physicists, all the teachers, everyone.
You should ask Mike Shildt that question at the top of the hour.
I got so many questions for Shildt.
First, though, we got Take on Woods. He's got plenty of knowledge when it comes to musical trivia. You've got a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. If you want to be our contestant, call now 833-288 097.3. We'll get to that coming up next after traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
We're talking this morning about how 7 Mile Casino is even closer than 7 miles from the new giant resort that just opened down there in Chula Vista. But it is very easy to get to if you're looking for something to do this weekend. Make the drive down the 5, West Side, Bay Boulevard, right there on San Diego Bay. Beautiful view. Great place to go with friends and have a great time playing some cards, Woods.
I think they should actually teach the kids how to play a little California-style blackjack. Might serve
It's
them
all
well.
about math.
It's all about math, right? Texas
Odds.
Hold'em, Pai Gow, Baccarat. Someday their time will come. But, 7 Mile Casino got everything you're looking for. Great food, friendly dealers, and obviously the proximity, man. 7 minutes from Petco Park. Great place to pregame. Great place to postgame. Great place if you can't get a ticket. You just want to go watch the game.
Yeah, great place to brunch on the weekends, just Saturdays and Sundays. But it's the award-winning best brunch in the South County at Sammy's at 7 Mile, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow and Sunday. Please check it out. And for high-limit players, they want you there. They want you playing at their tables, friendly dealers, comfortable chairs, and more. It's all for you at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Chat says, what am I doing during the break? I'm whistling the Planet song. Thanks, Woods. You're welcome. You're welcome. I guess we can all learn. That's the point. We can all continue to learn. I didn't know that acronym, and now I do, and now I know
My
the song.
very educated mother just served us nachos.
Yep, very good.
Planets of the solar system.
I will use it all weekend, I'm sure.
All right, we've got Mike Shildt coming up at the top of the hour. Right now, though, so many contestants to choose from. We got full phone lines. Let's get to our final game of the week. It is time to take on Woods. Take on Woods is brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And let's go line 4 today. Is this Alex?
Yes.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great.
All right, let's end the week with a win here. 5 questions of musical trivia. If you beat or tie Woods, you will qualify for our grand prize trip to see Bruno Mars in Las Vegas. 2 tickets to the show at Dolby Live at Park MGM on September 3rd. 2 nights stay at Park MGM and a $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Now, you get to pick whatever category you want, but I might just give you a nudge toward the new category today. Now, we still have the old categories, a groovy category, the word groove in the title of all the songs, and we have Luck O' the Irish, O apostrophe appearing in all the answers. But the new category today was submitted by my good friend Tier 1 Doug Downing. It's called Vetter Cup, and it features 5 bands and artists with San Diego connections in honor of the game tonight. But it's up to you. I want you to play with a game that you think gives you the best chance to win here. Alex, what's it going to be?
Oh, gosh. Let's go with the San Diego one.
All right. I'm glad to hear it. All right. Again, Tier 1 Doug, he was an intern of mine many years ago, has submitted a category with 5 bands and artists, all with some sort of San Diego ties. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We will get back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. You need to give me both the song title and that San Diego connected band to score the point. Alex, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, Paul, you good?
I'm ready.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock.
Alex.
The category is Vetter Cup.
All right.
Alex, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods. Which folksy pop singer lived in her van in Ocean Beach in the early 90s before her Pieces of You album went platinum 12 times? Correct. Which quintessential California band used the San Diego Zoo as the location to shoot the cover for their legendary album Pet Sounds?
Pass.
Formed in the 1960s, which San Diego band's biggest song is allegedly a drunken mispronunciation of In the Garden of Eden?
Oh, man. Oh, gee. Pass.
Which reggae group's biggest hit is a cover of Peter Frampton's Baby I Love Your Way, featured on the Reality Bites soundtrack?
Say it again. Question again.
Which reggae group's biggest hit is a cover of Peter Frampton's Baby I Love Your Way, featured on the Reality Bites soundtrack?
UB40?
No. Oh, just the one. Just Jewel. 2-second song was What's My Age Again by Blink-182. You knew Blink was going to be in there. The Beach Boys is Pet Sounds. Iron Butterfly, In the Garden of Eden, Inagata Davida. And the last one's tough. It's Big Mountain, but I included that one because Doug said it was his and Brienne's first dance song at their wedding. So I don't think that's going to do it. Let's bring Woods back in. He gets the same 5 questions. All right. Woods doesn't get the category. Alex scores locked in. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Alex.
What's my age again? Blink 182.
Correct. Which folksy pop singer lived in her van in Ocean?
Jewel.
Correct. Which quintessential California band used the San Diego Zoo as the location to shoot the cover of their legendary album Pet Sounds?
Oh, Beach Boys.
Correct. Formed in 1960s, which San Diego band's biggest song is allegedly a drunken mispronunciation of In the Garden of Eden?
Inagata Davida by Iron Butterfly.
Correct. Which reggae group's biggest hit is a cover of Peter Frampton's Baby I Love Your Way,
Oh.
featured on the Reality Bites soundtrack?
Can hear it.
Definitely the toughest one. You got time. We can chat.
Why can't I think
Which
of it?
reggae group's biggest cover is hit is a cover of Peter Frampton's Baby I Love Your Way, featured on the Reality Bites soundtrack?
5 seconds.
Ben's taint. I have no idea.
Ooh,
Big Mountain.
Big
But
Mountain. I didn't
4
know
is a
that.
good score today. It's a 4-1 win. So that category was submitted by our friend Doug Downey.
Oh, Doug.
And it
Love
was
Doug.
called Better Cup.
Doug.
It was bands and artists with San Diego connections.
San Diego Connections. I love
And
it.
he picked that last one because it was Doug and Brienne, his wife's, their first dance song at their wedding.
Oh, how sweet.
We left that in
Baby,
for
I love your way. It's excellent.
Alex. Sorry, didn't happen for you today. We will have a new category and a new game next Monday as Take on Woods continues. All right. Do you want to open the phones? You want to just chat when we come back? It's Friday. Keep it loose.
Let's go topless.
Ooh.
Topless segment.
All right. Who knows
Never
what's going to
know.
happen? Wild Friday happenings as we get ready for
Topless
Mike
Friday.
Shildt coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Man, a lot of sports going on right now. You got the NBA playoffs, you got the WNBA starting, you got all kinds of stuff. You got golf, you got baseball. Underdog, leading place to make all your sports picks. You can now play right here in our state. All you have to do, download the app, choose whether players will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You know how daily fantasy works. A lot of fun to play. If you're doing basketball, higher or lower, rebounds, points, assists, so much more. Playing on Underdog is a slam dunk. Very, very simple. And once you get your picks locked in, you can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So been playing Underdog for a while. May get in there this weekend on some baseball, maybe a little golf as well. Download the Underdog app, sign up with the promo code WOODS to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code WOODS. Now, you have to be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, 21 and over in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. And in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Do I need to be worried?
I think so. At this point,
Are we being targeted?
This is getting weird.
What did we do?
Paulie, you got scammed last week for a few $100.
Yeah,
scam.
I got
Someone
bank fraud.
someone stole his credit card number and
Yeah.
used it or attempted to use it.
Yeah,
in his
in Weed,
bank.
California.
Yeah.
That's right. At
At a
the
gas station.
Flying
pilot.
pilot.
gas
When you
That's
say
right.
scammed, I feel like someone called Paulie from a number asking him if he wanted to extend his warranty
Right.
on
Right.
his car, and he
Yeah, I
sent
didn't
him
do anything.
$500 to some random Venmo.
They used
account.
like a skimmer or whatever and got my information and made a dummy card and bought $500 worth of munchies up in Weed, California at some gas stations.
They got your old pal Woodsy this morning. So yeah, you should be worried. You're next.
You're next, Ben.
Just got a $438.07 charge to Tire Rack. All right. And
Tire Rack.
Tire Rack on my credit card. And then
It's like one premium tire or four really cheap ones.
And then I got a Chase fraud thing for $110 at Reynolds and Keller Towing. Somebody's having some car trouble and they're using my credit card
on your dime
to get out of it.
Now, you were talking about how you had to try to jump a car recently.
Yeah.
Were you on Ambien and maybe you called
No,
a
it
towing
was
service
middle of the
and
day, dude.
bought this guy some tires?
I'm looking up Reynolds and Keller Towing.
Good old R&K.
R&K Towing in
Why, Reynolds and Keller Towing.
Simply
the worst.
Simply the worst in Columbus, Ohio. And then what was the other one? Tire Rack?
Tire Rack, probably also in Columbus. Well, my guess is they blew a tire.
And there's
had
a
to be
Tire
towed.
Rack San Diego, it says. Tire Rack.
Is there one in Columbus?
Tire Rack official site. These sons of bitches, man. They're coming for me. So yeah, now
you need a moment to go cancel everything.
I'll just do it after the show. I'll do it. I'll call them on the drive home and let them know. It's headquartered in South Bend, Indiana, home of my beloved Notre Dame University.
Tire Rack.
So, yep. I would go the extra mile, Ben, today and start putting fraud alerts. And somebody's after us. They got Paulie and Weed. They got me in Columbus and South Bend. They're coming for you next.
Goes says Tire Rack is a huge aftermarket wheel company.
Okay.
I don't really know what aftermarket means. Is that like second
Gently used, maybe? I don't know. I think
tires aren't something you really want to get used,
no,
right?
You want to get them. You want to
Once
get
you've
them
used
new
them, you
every
really
time.
have to get new tires.
That's right. Aftermarket. Maybe it's the ones they couldn't sell. Not from the dealer, he says. What? Homemade?
Etsy. Go to Etsy and buy your tires.
Yeah, I have a side business. I make tires. I'm good. I'm going to pass.
They're really cute.
Made by third-party companies. What does that mean? So not by Firestone or Goodyear?
Bridgestone.
Nexon. That's the one that advertises on the Padres games
That's right.
all the time.
Timu tires. Yeah, exactly. God dang it, dude. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh, boy. Got to go deal with this today. It's not, I mean, it's like $500 on my credit card. I'm not too worried about it, but
it's the lingering.
But now they just said, all right, we're going to send you a new car. And I'm like,
bro, it's been 9 days now for me. And I'm still
feeling it.
Yesterday I got 3 more things. Hey, this payment didn't go through. Hey, we tried to charge your card for this. Your subscription hadn't gone through. And I'm like, okay, let's log in.
Update that.
What's my password? Oh, son of a bitch.
I know, dude. I know.
There's definitely things you want to be homemade, like chicken noodle soup, and things you don't want homemade.
Yeah, tires.
Like tires
That's
for
exactly
your car.
Right. When you buy custom wheels, those are aftermarket wheels. Okay, got it. Not what the factory puts on the vehicle originally. We got some smart tier ones. You got some dumb radio hosts here. I'll tell you that right now.
This hour on Better Woods.
That's what I learn every day.
Brought to you by Frozen Ropes San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt at Frozen Ropes. Is your child 6 to 12 years old and thus named Jackson? Then Baseball Summer League is the perfect fit for your player. Starting June 16th through August 17th, Summer League includes 8 practices and 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com.
Apple TV game tonight, I'm reading in the chat.
Is
that correct?
No Don, no mud. Apple
Friday
TV,
night off for
but
the boys.
Jesse and Tony.
Yep.
Usually by the bottom of the first inning, it's synced up. I don't know why it never works at the top of the first
It's
inning.
always our feed.
Yes.
The other team's feed works every time. But when I flip on the game in the first inning, it's just dead silence when I flip over to the local radio feed.
But then
I text Adam and he goes, well, it's working for me. I'm like, yeah, 20 minutes later. Yeah, they figured it out.
Figured it out. Why is it? Yeah, it is.
Every
It's
single
always
time.
Ours. It's always ours. All right. Yeah. So Apple TV game. It's good presentation, man. It always is. And it's inconvenient for some, for sure. But it is always a really, really good watch on there, as long as you do get to sync up with Jesse and Tony.
Curious who's going to be starting in left field
tonight. Yeah.
Tonight.
As am I. Righty on the bump.
Righty on the bump. But that didn't matter last time. You had a righty on the bump, and they started Brandon Lockridge over Jason Hayward.
It was a
opposite splits.
Well, it was Kyle Hendricks with reverse splits, right? It was, but for me, I thought, man, kind of a soft thrower in Kyle Hendricks, maybe a good spot, but I just the game before with Hayward, he looked fairly lost, at the plate. The last AB especially was really, really tough, and I feel for him, man.
Today will be telling, because if that was simply, hey, get your head right, you get a day off, and then the Padres, we have a day off, and then we'll put you back in there on Friday.
Could be.
It'll show you that they still have faith in Jason Hayward. If he's not back in the lineup today,
that's tough.
Then it's the sign of probably maybe a change coming. I don't know that Mike Shildt is going to necessarily address specifically his lineup tonight, but I certainly going to ask him a little bit about, Jason Hayward, and how, as a manager, how do you deal with a guy who's,
especially a veteran,
you believe in, but he's slumping, and at some point you have to look out for the current production of your team, but you also want to get that guy going. Your team will be better off if he starts playing like you think he's capable of. But how long can you give a guy? How patient can you be? How does that work when you're the manager of a ball club?
Well, we talked to, during the roundtable yesterday about it, and everyone kind of had varying opinions on it. But, you always defer to Tony Gwynn Jr. as he knows, the player pretty well and knows the team pretty well and knows the game pretty well, having grown up in it and seen a lot in it, Benny. I always love getting his insight. And, he basically said at this point, they're not a real knee-jerk team, and he's certainly not a real knee-jerk manager. He's just not. So I think,
I'm not a knee-jerk fan or broadcaster.
I can be a little bit knee-jerk, but I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better with my old age.
And I don't think making or thinking about making a change with Jason Hayward is at all knee-jerk at this point. 3 weeks ago, that would have been knee-jerk. Now, now it's a concerning trend
Well,
where you
it's-
have to maybe address it.
It's much easier if you have somebody banging down the door. Obviously, it's much easier when you have an adult and rushing ready to come in and catch a couple times a week for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he's ready. He's ready for the show. Oscar Gonzalez, there's some stuff I like about Oscar. I mean, he is the freest swinger I've seen in a long, long time. He really is. That's a nice way to put it. Tirso didn't get many opportunities to shine here.
What, 11 at bats?
11 or 14,
Yeah,
I think 14 ABs, had a knock, walked a couple times, hit a couple balls hard. But I just don't know. I think with Oscar Gonzalez and Tirso, I think you're giving up a lot of defense that you are not giving up with Jason Hayward. And with Jason right now, you're giving up a little bit of offense, a lot of offense. But, at some point they are going to have to find the longer term solution.
I don't know that we give Mike Shildt and AJ Preller, for that matter, enough credit on. It's such a delicate balance of wanting to get young guys, especially their opportunities and some playing time. But bro, you have big plans.
Your aspirations are huge.
But you're hoping to win. You're like, hey, if we're the
This is the
Colorado
White Sox,
Rockies,
yeah.
exactly.
But
Let them play. Get them 140 games.
Conversely, if you know you're not going to get that much production, isn't it more valuable to give more experience to the young guys? Jason Hayward doesn't need experience. You know what you've got in him. At least you can find out about Tirso or Nellis if he's playing, and you're not giving up anything because you're not getting anything.
Well, you're giving up defense. You are giving up defense, which raise your hand if you think Mike Shildt values defense. Everyone's hands shoot up. I mean, and look at the organization he was.
But I think Lockridge is probably a better defender out there
than Hayward.
Yeah. Well, just speed-wise.
Speed-wise,
Hayward makes the plays that he gets to, and he's got some speed, but he doesn't have elite speed anymore in left field. So, there's a lot of things to balance, and we'll talk to Mike Shildt coming up in less than 10 minutes. First, though, got to check traffic, and then the last couple of minutes of this hour, a fellow member of the San Diego media with a social media post that stunned me yesterday.
Blew my mind. Blew my mind.
That's next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware at 10th and University. Looks like the roads are winding down pretty nicely. An accident cleared on the coastline south on 5 near Loma Santa Fe. Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 franks, courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the Grilling Store at Hillcrest, Ace Hardware at 10th and University. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Kirk Kenney is a sports writer for the UT. He's on the San Diego State football beat, has been for the last few seasons. And he posted this yesterday that caught my attention. He said, I ate at the Del Sur location of Chick-fil-A almost every day during the pandemic just to get out of the house, prompting one employee to suggest I try dining there every day, except Sundays, for a year. Nearly 4.5 years later, ... and there's a picture of him pointing to a sign they have put up inside Chick-fil-A. It says, Kirk has dined at Chick-fil-A 1,369 days in a row.
Good God.
1,369 straight days of Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. 4.5 years.
4.5.
4.5 straight years.
1,000.
There are questions.
3.75 years.
People ask them in the chat, how are you not dead? What's your cholesterol level? I saw all these. And he said, well, I know it's not the best thing, but I usually sub out salad for the fries or soup and then get an unsweetened iced tea. So it's really just the regular Chick-fil-A sandwich. And he eats it every single day. They said, what if you're out of town? Well, all of, everywhere I get travel to cover the Aztecs, there's a Chick-fil-A. So I go when I'm out of town. And obviously you take Sundays off because Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays. Crazy. No? Yes?
Beyond.
Very crazy.
Okay.
I'm just, my brain is a little bit rattled by it. Not only, obviously it's a lot of time. Don't you get tired of the same meal every day?
Did he not travel at all in the last 3.5 years?
He went to Aztecs, but he said there's always
one.
There's always a Chick-fil-A wherever he goes.
Huh.
He eats the same, so basically the same lunch every single day. Couldn't do it.
Except Sundays.
It's wild.
Wow. All right, we got Mike Shildt joining us. Final hour of the week. Ben Woods next on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball. San Diego Padres hosting the Seattle Mariners tonight. The start of the first official Vetter Cup. First pitch is at 6:40. Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show is at 5:40. And, of course, Eco Water SoCal also brings you the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal keeping it soft since 1925. And we welcome in the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, here on a Friday morning. Mike, good to have you back on. And how you been this week?
Everything's been good. Good to catch up with you guys.
You too, man. Now, listen, I asked you about it last year when it happened. I had to ask you right off the shoot. I loved your ejection. I texted you, actually, after your ejection in New York, and I thought it was electric. It was an electric victory. The fellas came back, and, of course, the next day, our pal John Boy up in New York puts out the lip-reading thing. I watched it 50 times. I have to ask you, did you watch it? You lived it, but did you go back and watch it?
Somebody sent it to me. I watched it just for curiosity about what's being said, but I didn't really dive into it. I kind of knew what happened.
I got to tell you, I've been dying to talk to you because I missed you when I was out of town surprising my dad. The glasses throw was epic. It was one of the most epic things I think I've ever seen from a skipper. And the thing that fascinated me the most is you were not up there complaining about balls and strikes, of which there had been some really bad calls, and you weren't up there actually complaining about the pitch. Can you talk a little bit about why that's so important to you? And once you said it, we noticed, man, he's right. Like, they don't bark at the umpires a lot. They're actually a really cool team as far as the way that you guys treat umpires. That's something that you've kind of talked to the guys about, instilled in them?
It's something I believe in. It's something that's not hard. We got a bunch of good guys, high character guys that, recognize that, everybody's got a job to do. It can be hard, including umpires. And, we try to talk to them, work with them. And our guys do a really good job. Teams I've had historically have always done that. There's a respect factor there in a job that is really a challenging job. And, a lot of the conversations have and should take place in a very professional way. Where do you have it? What do you think? More nuance that people watching the game don't necessarily see or recognize. We have our human moments, and but like Todd, he had his first ejection, grew up in the game clearly with his dad.
Yeah.
Knows how to go about things, knows how to. One of the things that we also do is, we put up a little bio with the umpires before the game in the dugout that says, hey, this is, X umpire, his number of years he has in the league. This is a little personal background on him. And our guys, they talk to him. We're not trying to curry any favor. We're just trying to, make sure that we humanize them and we are able to talk to them. But in Toddy's case, like I said, he's been in the game a long time, been around the game, and took exception with some calls and, said something to, as he was walking away with his head turned in a very non-demonstrative manner without raising his voice or making any, real scene. And, the umpire had a human moment, threw him out. And at that point, the glasses came off.
Glasses came off. I love it. I wanted to ask you about something that sometimes I think gets overlooked in baseball, but is so important, especially on the big league level. That is resiliency. Every team is going to suffer painful losses, like the one you had against the Angels earlier this week. And what defines teams often is how do they bounce back from those? And, of course, your team came back and won the next two games and won the series. How do you manage that when your team takes a gut punch? I mean, do you ignore it? Do you say something to the players afterwards? How does that go when the moments are low, as does happen during a long season?
And that's just life, right? I mean, that's life. That's baseball. That's individuals. That's teams. That's really a part of what defines you and how you handle things. What do you say? Listen, you got a group of guys that are extremely invested in each other, extremely invested in the preparation, the dedication, the competition to every day to winning games. And, when when a game gets, doesn't go your way, especially at the end, it hurts. So, you basically, what do you say? You pat guys in the back, and, they know, we know, like, listen, there's no guarantees in this game. That's what makes sport and our game so fun, but also can be so challenging, So, we know who we are. We know how we compete. We know how we prepare. And when it doesn't work out, especially at the end, where it can really hurt even more, you move on. You know that you've done it. Everybody gave their best bowl, and you pat each other on the back, and you show up the next day, and you get after like you do what it takes to win that day's game, and that's more or less how it works.
Talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning, and you talk about guarantees in sports, and Robert Suarez has been one of the easiest guarantees so far, and to watch the wheels come off a little bit, and for him to get right back on the horse a couple days later, no sweat, nails it down. That was obviously important to see. But for you, when you're watching an inning like that, and it starts to unravel a little bit, we said it the next day on the air, Shildt, and I understand it. Like, I'm going to give that guy a shot to figure it out. He walked 3 guys in a row, but if there's anybody that's proven that they can do it, it's Robert Suarez, and to figure it out in an instant, he didn't that night, but he did a couple days later. For you, watching that happen, I mean, it had to have been a little bit jarring because he's been so electric and locked in all season long.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part of the art to this. Listen, like we talk about, they're men, not machines. I know there's always a knee-jerk reaction. I don't know that actually. My guess is, specific a little bit of the question is, and understandably, people watch, get him out of there, get him out of there, get him out of there, starter, get him out of there, get him out of there. What's he doing? Look, man, you don't have infinite amount of pitchers, and there's also they are major league players. They're not perfect. 1 or 2 batters, the other side's trying to cannot work out, cannot look good. But if you backed up every single guy that got into trouble, you would never you guys would be pitching.
It's the worst idea you've ever had. No, you do not want that. You do not.
I mean, I don't think we do. I mean, I don't know.
No, you don't.
Okay. I think I do. Yeah, but I mean, I get it. So you look, you evaluate, you see it. You're not blind to it either. That's the other part of it that, it got to a point, but, guys clearly, whether it's offensively, or pitching, they have track records. They're big league players. The game is hard. And, a lot of times, and most of the time, they do figure it out. They do make a pitch. And then sometimes they make a pitch and the guy puts a swing on it, or the other guy's making good pitches and it's harder to put good swings on it, And so, there's some grace with that. And, in Robert's case, I mean, yeah, of course you expect him to be able to find it. He had a little more trouble for the first time in, almost since he's been here. And then once you recognize he got to a certain point, you make an adjustment.
Yeah.
And we did.
Love what we're seeing from Manny and Toddy right now. They're both looking like MVPs. Well, I mean, Jackson is too, but I want to focus on Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado for a second. Not just the walk-off home run, that's great, the big hits, but when you look at, and people have kind of pointed this out, the numbers, what they're both doing well is chasing less pitches outside the zone and, not going after those sliders. I imagine much easier said than done, but what is it that they kind of work on to try to identify those pitches? And you see those guys get locked in when they're not reaching at those pitches. And what's your observation as manager on that?
Probably a couple things. I mean, yeah, they're exceptional talents. Both are having and are capable of having MVP type seasons, and I'm happy for them. I know the work they put in, and it is easier said than done. The reason why is probably a combination of things. They could probably answer it better from my perspective. Part of it is both of these guys have rightfully and understandably been signed to big deals with big expectations. And one of the things that I have the privilege, but sometimes people don't necessarily want to hear, and I get it, is what comes with those expectations. And yeah, you're paid for them. And look, nobody's running from it. They actually run to it. But when you do run to it and you do want it, whether it be for the city or, Peter Sauer or Peter Sauer's legacy or your teammates or, some combination thereof, and other things, you can tend to try to do too much and try to make it happen on your own. And so you try to do more than maybe you should at times. And I feel like both those guys are in a sweet spot, where they can just, know they can just put their piece in, and their piece is very good, clearly. And take what the game gives them and know that other people around them will also contribute. And that's a good feeling. So, that's the vantage point from my seat. I love them to death. And, that's the way I kind of see it.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Bennett Woods this morning. Really, really nice to see you, Darvish, pitch again and pitch well. You're touching, I think, 97 at one point and sitting around 95 and 5-pitch mix, which is about 9 pitches less than he normally throws. So, for you, to get you, Darvish, back, any idea what you guys are thinking about, as far as the rotation goes? Is a 6-man rotation in the future, or are you guys just going to kind of play it by ear?
We haven't thought a look about it.
Okay. Asked and answered.
I'm kidding.
I was like, all right, well, wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise you?
No, I mean, like, that you're not worried about it now.
You're such a one game at a time
You're
guy.
a game
So
at a time
I don't
guy.
know.
Yeah.
You kind of throw us off sometimes.
That's
Mike.
right. That's right. Like, we'll worry about it when he's ready to go. And then, because we always say baseball, unfortunately, sometimes it has a way of working itself out. You're like, we have 12 pitchers in spring training. And the next, 7 guys go down, we got 5 guys. And that's just the way that baseball works. Obviously, you don't want anybody to get hurt. Everybody's throwing the ball really well. But, looking down the road, it's like, hey, we've got another guy that can come in and help us win ball games and, take some heat off the bullpen.
Yeah, that's the key to it. So, you mentioned about, and we've thought about it. We haven't made any final decisions. We're still waiting on, how Darvish is going to recover and how he feels and what the next steps are. So, it's you have your thoughts around what that could possibly look like, but there's still moving parts to it. Use recovery being one of them, what his next steps are being a factor. There are other factors. The schedule is a little bit of a factor. You talk about taking care of the bullpen. I really don't think it takes care of the bullpen to have one less guy down there.
That's true. That's true.
Especially, we're going to get through, this 3-game series, have a day off, and then we're going to have fewer days off. We've been, fortunate to have that. But we'll always evaluate any and all of it and see where it lands.
Last season, Mike, this is, by the way, our manager's report with Mike Shildt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Last season, you got some big dividends, being patient with a couple of veterans who got off to slow starts. Kyle Higashioka was off to a really slow start, first month and a half, ended up with a huge role for your team. David Peralta didn't do much when he first joined the club, but stuck with him, and he ended up playing a big role. And I'm asking, of course, about Jason Hayward, off to a slow start. Obviously, we love him. Great guy. I mean, met him a few times in the clubhouse. He's fantastic. He's been playing well defensively, but the offense isn't going. As a manager, how do you balance, like, patience, wanting to get a guy going, knowing he can help you in the future versus current production? I know, you gave Brandon Lockridge a start on Wednesday. I'm sure that's got to be one of the toughest dilemmas that you face over the course of a season.
It's just part of the gig. And, I also look at it more holistically than perhaps others do and how they evaluate it. And I also have the privilege of being able to be around Jason and see the contributions and, again, look at the game in a more holistic manner to see where the contributions come from to help us shake hands. And offensive production is definitely one of them. I'm not ignoring that, clearly, but there are other variables that you look at. If you look at this big picture with guys that have some dirt in their spikes, like the Higgies and Peraltas and now Jason Haywards, there's there's a reason they got the dirt, because they performed, and performed in a lot of different ways. In Jason's case, if you look up, Jason Hayward's basically been on a winning team since he was 8 years old. He's a very high character, high baseball IQ, great energy, sees the game very well, brings a lot of intangibles that will never be quantified on anybody's spreadsheet. But the spreadsheet is important. I don't alibi that. But the point I'm getting at is, Jason does bring intangibles that are real to our clubhouse and to our team and to our pregame and during the game and how we see the game and helping guys, see defensive positioning, which, I don't believe anybody's brought up. Maybe they have the 4++ defensive plays that he made in Colorado that allowed, us to get out of innings and keep starters in longer and save our bullpen or save some opportunities for some runs on the other side that really mattered, and some other areas too. And that was based on his talent, but also based on his anticipation, his positioning, and his experience. I see those things. And so, there's value in that. As far as, what it looks like moving forward, it, similar to looks like Wednesday. We'll look to see what the lineup looks like, what the opposing pitcher looks like, what the matchups look like, and we'll take our best shot at and putting them in the right position to give us the best chance to succeed.
Your starting pitcher tonight is such an interesting guy. And again, I mean, watching that masterful performance in Colorado, it's like winning. It's like pitching 18 innings somewhere else. Not only is there altitude and your pitches don't do what they normally do, but he's sitting for 20 minutes at a time, Shildt, because the offense is absolutely cracking. And then he's got to go out and refocus, and to throw a complete game shutout at Colorado, like, I don't know, you just get 2 wins for that. In my opinion, he is such an interesting guy. What can you tell us about Stephen Kolek? I know he didn't make the club out of spring training. You said he took that really well, went down and worked on his craft. Expecting kind of big things from him now based on what I've seen.
Expecting them to continue to move forward. We just expect the most out of what their abilities are that day and, every day. And Stephen did. He took it the right way in a sense of, it's a competitive starting rotation, and that's what we went with. And, he went down and he continued to work on some things that we felt like were important to him, and the ability to come back up and be a starter in the big leagues. And to his credit, he was able to do that. And so, what the expectation is consistency. It's more of the same. He's got really good weapons. I think that's very, very clear. What he did was really impressive in Colorado, not only, in the environment a little bit, but I loved it about the environment because it's interesting. Like, oh gosh, Colorado. Well, I've seen 2-1 games there.
Yeah.
I've seen 3-1 games there.
It's true.
I've seen guys pitch well. It's not like it can't happen. I love the mentality he had. He went in and he attacked. And I think that's important. And also, being able to stay locked in and with a lot of long innings, which we always love, on the offensive side, and going out and still attacking was really, really impressive. And he deserved a lot of credit for that. And it was really impressive, performance by Stephen. And, now it's, go do it again, not to the complete game status, but, go attack, be able to, use your pitches in the zone. He's got really good pitches, and I love when he's able to, command his pitches and control counts with the stuff he has. I mean, he's able to maintain his velocity later in games, obviously, and, he's got a 4-seamer. He's got a really good 2-seamer, get guys on the ground. He's got the cutter, and, he's got it, through some real changeups that have come into play that he worked on in AAA at the end of spring training. So, that's just more of the same.
Well, it's a big one. Vetter Cup is here. I know you're
Rivalry.
probably very excited about the Vetter Cup, Seattle against San Diego. I got to ask you, I mean, Pearl Jam fan or no? I think I know the answer. You've surprised me before.
So what do you got if you're going to make your assumption?
My assumption is no.
Okay.
Because I've asked you about music before, and you listened to like Alan Jackson and stuff. But I mean, you can listen to both. I listen to Alan Jackson too, and I also love Pearl Jam.
Okay. I appreciate all good music, and I think Pearl Jam put out some really good music.
All right.
So I am I like, do I have a T-shirt and a poster? I don't.
I have a shirt for you. If you want one, I can bring you a Pearl Jam shirt.
That'd be great. I'd
All
wear it. I'm always grateful of anything that people give out of the goodness of their heart.
Done. It's done, and it's done.
Good luck this
You're the
weekend,
best.
Mike.
Thanks,
Do
Shildt.
you still have your Ben and Woods T-shirt?
Yeah, because I haven't
gave
seen
you
that
one.
yet.
I haven't seen it on you.
I mean, I wear Padres gear. If you guys want to go to a lunch date and I'll wear it, that'd be great.
Yes,
All right.
anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
Sounds good. All right.
PF
I'll be
happy
Chang's.
to.
PF
That'd be wonderful.
Chang's. Again, we'll try it again. Anytime, brother.
Have
Thank
a good,
you.
Have a good weekend, man.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Thanks,
There he
Shildt.
is, the manager's report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
He hit me with the porqué.
Gotta be bilingual in this sport.
I love it.
So the irony here, I know we got to take a break, but
He's so funny.
we all know Eddie Vedder is a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And of course,
That's
Mike
the,
Shildt
the irony of it.
comes from the Cardinals. So Eddie Vedder was always he was the enemy.
The enemy.
When Mike was with the Cardinals, probably saying, "Take me out to the ball game" on multiple
Oh,
occasions
yeah.
when the Cardinals were visiting Wrigley Field.
Somebody said in the chat, Shildt keeps the boys cautiously nervous. Dude, yes,
100%.
100%. I love it. I'm starting to really enjoy these.
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic today. Fantastic.
We totally bought his line. No, I haven't thought about a 6-man
I
rotation.
go, really?
at all.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds
He's
good.
like, you
Fine.
idiots. So good. So good. And listen, it's
That's
hard.
entrapment. That's what that is.
Yeah,
That's
it's entrapment. It's hard to argue with the results on the field right now. Yeah, man, we want them to keep this thing going. It's just been so fun this season, and watching these guys. It's just such. We were both lamenting, my wife and I, last night. Like, this sucks, dude. No game. These Thursday off days are murdering us at home. Like, it's just such a part of us now. So, no, great job by the skipper.
All right, quick timeout. We can talk a little bit more about what we heard. Still a Reindl Report to get to. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, and I'm speaking directly to Kirk Kenny right now, if you need to lose some weight, sdfatloss.com is the place to do it. Summer is right around the corner, San Diego. Actually, Kirk looks fine despite eating at same fast food
Somebody
restaurant.
just tuned in. They're like, damn, shots fired.
1,369 straight days of fast food. He actually looks pretty good, I must say. Hey, you know what? Sometimes we all put on a few pounds. SDFatLoss.com can help you take it off fast, up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. That means by the middle of July, when it's finally really getting nice in San Diego, you can be a new you. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and I did it without exercise, without injections, and without any bars or shakes. Just real food, stuff I normally eat, like steak and chicken and vegetables like broccoli, some fish in there. And I lost the weight, and I've been able to keep it off because it is based on real foods. It helps reset your metabolism, and it's an easy-to-follow maintenance plan when you're done. It also costs half as much, works twice as fast as most other programs. Go to sdfatloss.com, schedule your free consultation now, and when you start the program, get $200 off here in the month of May at sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Definitely not surprised that when I asked Mike Shildt about Jason Hayward, I got a litany of, contributions that Jason Hayward is still currently making to the team, defensively, leadership. I totally get that, and I don't disagree with it at all. But he also acknowledged that, the spreadsheet matters as well. And in my mind, Woods, Jason Hayward soon has to start putting up some better at bats if he wants to kind of remain around with this team. I mean,
that's baseball in a nutshell, man. Honestly, yeah, absolutely. And the guys yesterday on the roundtable, again, everyone had their different opinion on when they thought it may happen. Our pal David J said it's not as easy to pull the plug on a player as maybe the fan base would think, and I think Shildt echoed that sentiment as well. You mentioned the numbers Higgy had last year at this time, batting 161, OBP. I mean, it was terrible. He's playing 1 day a week at that point. And, we all know the kind of year that he ended up having and parlaying it. Do I think Jason Hayward has more in him? I don't know. If I did, Ben, I would not be sitting here with you. I wouldn't. I'd be somewhere else evaluating talent because I just don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. Wish I could promise you guys it's going to turn around. There are players that I would be willing to stake, my reputation on. Not that it matters. I'm not going to lose my job over it, but you know what I'm saying? There have been players in my life where I've said, he will turn it around. He's going to be fine. And I think I was right on some of those. Some of them I haven't been. Jason Hayward isn't one that I can sit here confidently and say, guys, just wait. Just be patient. He's going to turn around. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you do watch guys and you go, all right, I can see, he's hit some balls hard right at people. I can see where it might turn around.
Correct.
And you watch Jason Hayward and you go, doesn't feel like he's that close to turning it around.
I feel
right
like
now.
I've gone back to this well a couple of times over the years. But there was maybe our first year together, maybe the second year. Franmil Reyes started the season, and he hit like 17 balls at 105 mile an hour, off the bat, and he had like one hit to show for it. And everyone's like, "Get this guy out of here!" And I'm like, "Man, he's barreling the baseball, like he's barreling the ball." Some things are going to start to turn around for him. Never really did, but that process was good. It's a good process. Hit the ball hard, good things will happen. I don't know that you can sit and look at the underlying numbers, Jason Hayward, and say, guys, he's just bad luck. It's bad luck right now. I don't think that's the case.
One other thing, just kind of the reading between the lines. Obviously, he made the joke about the 6-man rotation and that they haven't even thought about it. Clearly, obviously, they're talking about it. But he made that slight note about one less guy in the bullpen is not necessarily what you want with a big stretch of games either. It doesn't going to a 6-man rotation during a long stretch. You go, oh yeah, that's going to really help the team and save your starters, but it's also going to tax your bullpen more. You're going to have to send someone down, whether it's Sean Reynolds or someone else, to make room for that 6th starter.
What do you think is better on the pitching staff as a whole? Is it the 6-man rotation straight up, or do you do the 5-man rotation where you piggyback maybe like a Kolek and a Vasquez and hope to essentially eliminate the bullpen entirely that game?
I wish I knew the answer, man, because I'm looking at, you look at the team the team that's leading the division right now, and they're doing a couple bullpen games a week and seemingly, marching on and winning every series. So don't you guys get the sense if Shildt had to go to a bullpen day, how panicked would you be? Not because the guys in the bullpen couldn't get it done, but because of the next day and the next day after. I would be sick to my stomach.
You have to really trust your 6 starters.
Yes.
Because, hey, you guys are getting an extra day of rest, but that means we need 6 to 7 out of you every single time, because we can't be asking our bullpen to also then fill 4 innings or 5 innings when you scuffle. We won't be able to survive that. So you have to really trust all 6 guys that they're not going to give you 1 2/3 innings one day.
It's so much different. It's not like a one game in a playoff series where you're like, hey, there may not be it tomorrow. We're going all out. This is our best chance to win because somebody got hurt in our rotation or whatever. Like, we're talking, it's May 16th, and you still got 4.5 months to go before you even get to the playoffs. You got to get there.
Again, managing this scene, managing that bullpen, managing any bullpen at any level, whether you're in college, high school, whatever it is, it's maddening. It is so maddening to think about how difficult that would be, and to do it at the highest level, and then have to factor in, expectations and what you think is going to happen, Benny. And let's not act like Michael King, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, Nick Pivetta. Those guys aren't capable of a clunker. And I mean that 1 2/3, right? So you go on let's say you're on a 6-man rotation and Michael King has a clunker, which is absolutely fine. And it happens to the best of them. What happens then? What happens then? You use your bullpen for 7 1/3 on the first day of the trip, and you're like, oh my God, here we go. More pressure on Dylan, more pressure on Pivetta, more pressure on the next guy, Yu Darvish. And so it is just the most stressful thing. I don't know. You guys know how my brain operates. I don't think I would sleep a wink. I would be up nauseated about things that potentially could happen if my starters didn't give me at least 5 every night, right? And man, the way the game is now, guy pitches 5 innings, they're standing ovation when he walks off the field. It's truly crazy, the difference in baseball now and then.
Time for our final giveaway of the week. Last chance to win your tickets, the VIP tickets to the Front Row Card Show at the Town and Country Resort in Mission Valley, coming up May 24th and 25th. Be the 5th caller right now at 833-288-0973. Paulie's going to take some phone calls. You're going to win. It's a huge show with over 400 vendors of sports cards, Pokemon, comic books, autographs, and other collectibles. Just go to frontrowcardshow.com to get your own tickets or win them right now from 97.3 The Fan. Paulie's also got his Reindl Report, including the quarterback who wanted to be a diva but didn't have the stomach for it.
Crazy, man.
Last year.
Crazy,
Interesting story from the NFL coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Congratulations to Chris. Correct? Chris won the
Yes.
tickets. Congratulations to all of our winners this week who will be heading to the card show later this month in Mission Valley. All right, just a few minutes left. It's been a good week. It's been a good Friday show. Enjoyed talking to Mike Shildt. Paulie's going to give us the final Reindl Report headlines after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, anyone out there on the roads is definitely liking the ride. There are no trouble spots to contend with. In fact, not a lot of brake lights. You're pretty much full blast out of the South Bay, both freeways. The bridge looks good heading over to Coronado. No delays out of the East County. And South 15, South 5, both working for you coming down from the North County. Enjoy. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. There
Alrighty.
we go. Turn the
All
microphone
right.
on.
There
How
we
we
go.
doing? Happy Friday, gentlemen.
Happy Friday, Paulie.
So let's start with this NFL story. Seth Wickersham, one of the best sports writers out there, in my humble opinion.
good.
Pretty damn good.
He goes for quality over quantity with his writing. He
I
doesn't
haven't
write.
seen him in a while.
He doesn't do like daily or even weekly. Like he's not a beat reporter. He doesn't follow a team. When he writes something, it takes months of investigating and collecting facts and stories and conversations. And it's usually a pretty big banger. And so Seth Wickersham, this was not one of his stories on ESPN, because that's typically where I would read it. It was, you get like the blurbs on ESPN, and then you get the one that's like 12 pages long. You're like, oh, I got to set aside like an hour to read through this story. He just came out with a book called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback.
I love the title.
American Kings.
American Kings.
That's great.
Yeah. And so part of this story was talking about the Chicago Bears, and in particular, Caleb Williams, who was going through the draft process last year and did not want to go to Chicago. Him, his father, their whole family didn't want to be part of the Bears, who of course had the number 1 pick. His father, Carl, said, quote, "Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die."
Fair.
He's not super wrong either, if you look at their history. And so it goes on and talks about how eventually, like, they were like, do I just not even go to the NFL draft at all?
Yeah.
Like, do I forego the NFL and play in like one of these other leagues?
And
what
then
does
he
he
met
do?
Kevin O'Connell and goes, "Oh, I want to play for that guy.
Yeah,
I want to
play in
for the
Minnesota.
Vikings. I want to go there. That would be a dream."
Yeah,
He told several agents, "I don't want my son playing for the Bears," and I think Caleb was of the same opinion.
Yeah, it says here it got to the point where he started playing it forward in his head, which I think is a very valuable thing to do.
100%. Fast forward the tape,
bro. We do it daily on our radio show, not life-changing decisions or anything like that, but you come up with an idea and you even think it's a good idea, and then you go, okay, play it forward. How does this play out? What does that look like? What does it sound like? And he started getting concerned. Caleb Williams did that. If he did try and do this with the Bears and say, "I'm not going to play for you guys," would that make the situation even worse?
Yeah, the Eli Manning, the John Elway. I mean, this is not
worked out for those guys.
This is not uncommon. It's not.
But the strategy they thought would be go totally nuclear on the city of Chicago.
Correct.
Yeah, he said,
"I don't want to play in that dump for that dump of a team."
That was the strategy.
And knowing, just like with Eli, well, everyone in San Diego is going to hate me forever, but
and
this is what I want to happen. But he kind of lost the stomach for it.
Yeah, his quote was, "I wasn't ready to nuke the city." And then it says here, after a pre-draft visit to the Bears facility, Williams believed he could be a part of the process to turn the franchise around. Quote, "I can do it for this team." Caleb ended up telling his dad, "I'm going to go to the Bears."
It's pretty crazy, too. It was a very tumultuous season for him. He spent the majority of the year on his rear end because they had no offensive line. And
despite that, he had okay numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
And he still had a good year. And then Ben, sacked league leading 68 times, completed 62.5% of the passes, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for a rookie quarterback. It's pretty damn good.
Sacked all the time.
Sacked all the time. And his head coach got fired. And
the offensive coordinator
got
probably
fired.
A good thing for him.
This was a really telling thing. He told his dad, I watch film. He said, but no one tells me what to watch. I just turn it on. And he just back there on his own, like, I'm watching film, man. I'm like trying to learn this, but that's what those coaches are for. And I think there are people listening that go, well, you need to learn how to watch film, before you get to the big leagues, if you will, the NFL. And it's like, no, man, like that's why you have a coordinator and a quarterback's coach and a head
different
coach.
level, more complicated defenses.
Correct.
You need someone
more complicated offense
with a clicker and a pointer and going, okay, here's this. He just left him there to watch it by himself.
Again, man, I'm a fan of this kid. I really am. And there's something about the self-discovery of, I can't do this. I don't have it in me to nuke this city.
That sounds awful. You're just watching film and going, yeah, these guys are terrifying. Okay,
Yeah.
I got to play against these guys. Oh, look at that guy's going to sack me, and that guy's
Look how leaky my line is here. This should be a lot of fun. But I think I loved the self-discovery of I'm not cut out for having the entire city loathe me the rest of my life. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to do it. And he tells his dad, I got it. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, quickly, we'll go through the NBA. Ben, if you have any thoughts, the NBA action last night, you had the Nuggets holding serve at home, beat the Thunder 119-107. That forces a Game 7. Winner goes on to the Western Conference Finals, and then where the Timberwolves are waiting for them. And then tonight's action, you got Game 6 back at the Garden in New York. Knicks and Celtics. Boston looking to extend this series. If the Knicks can't get it done tonight and punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals, then Game 7 in that series will be on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the Knicks definitely don't want to have to go back to Boston. and I don't think they will. The one that is interesting to me is Nuggets Thunder, because Nuggets have the experience. Thunder have the better players. I tend to lean toward the Thunder here. I think they're going to take care of business and roll in Game 7 on Sunday.
Game 7.
Like
where's the game?
In Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Roll.
I think like 20 points. Yeah, I don't.
You're kidding.
There's been a lot of blowouts this postseason.
That is a brazen.
Put some money on it.
You put money on it.
You put money on it. Jimmy the Greek over there. Benny the Greek.
A lot easier to bet with other people's
OKC
money.
by 20. OKC by 20.
His call is Oklahoma City by 20.
Mm-hmm.
Because they expended so much energy getting to a Game 7.
I think so.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. And then finally got a story here of some DoorDash drama that got settled out in court. Yeah. So a former worker and driver for DoorDash pleaded guilty to conspiring with others to steal more than $2.5 million from DoorDash. And I thought, how the hell do you do that? It was somebody out of Newport Beach, California. They were working with some others a couple of years ago. You know how it works. This all happened a few years ago, plays out in court today or whatever. And so they were trying to defraud DoorDash. And what they were doing was they used customer accounts to place high value orders. Then they used a DoorDash employee's credential to gain access to the DoorDash software and manually reassign those high value orders to driver accounts that he and his buddies all controlled. Then they would go in and cause the driver accounts to report that the orders had been delivered when they actually had not. That
so
manipulated.
It looks like a fulfilled order.
Yep, a $300 order,
fulfilled,
delivered,
done,
signed, sealed, good.
They didn't actually have to give the money to the restaurant, so they were then keeping the money.
Yeah, they manipulated DoorDash's systems to pay the driver accounts, credit them for those big deliveries that never were placed and never actually happened.
See, I like how hacking works in the movies, where some smart guy sits down at a computer for 5 seconds, types really fast, and then they put $17 million into the account from one account to the other. Like it's that really simple to do.
The way they do it is $300 at a time. I mean, it's mind numbing to think about. Man,
that's gnarly. So they their court date is coming up here later this summer. They are facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
What's the biggest DoorDash order you think you've ever ordered?
Don't ask me.
Really?
Now I'm curious.
Couple hundred.
Whoa.
Benihana.
Old Benihana dinner.
Benihana got me.
Shrimp fried rice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All of it.
Steak.
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Wow.
It's like 2 giant bags. Giant. So I'm not proud of it.
I know.
But DoorDash has the money because we pay them about $2.5 million a year. So it comes out in the wash. It comes out in the wash. For them,
you're saying this is no skin off their back.
No,
they're fine.
They're absolutely fine. Again, we zeroed out.
Sir, Mr. DoorDash, we actually lost $2.5 million last week.
Woodsy's got us.
Now we're fine.
If nobody's got me, Woodsy's got me.
We're going under. The Woodses have moved on, and we're
still getting those texts at 5:30 every night. Hungry for dinner?
You affect their stock price.
Correct. And it's dumb. I just signed up for Dash Pass, by the way. Just now.
Finally. Told you about that years ago.
It was 4 years I could have done it. I've already saved a fortune. So, looking forward to door dashing something this evening. Big fan.
All right. We will be back Monday morning.
Yep.
Talk about the Vetter Cup, who has at least the early edge. Remember, it doesn't end until they go to Seattle later, so won't be over yet, but we will talk to you then. Everybody have a great weekend. Braden's coming up next for our executive producer, Paulie Reindl, and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy the rest of your Friday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.